No portion of this program may be reproduced.
So let me ask you, Zach, what are people saying and doing?
WQAM Beasley Broadcast Group Incorporated.
Besides that, what is Halloween?
A couple shots taken early this morning.
A couple of shots at what?
560 WQAM.
Really?
Fort Lauderdale.
Well, good.
Word from Boca.
Ladies, this Halloween, be the trashiest trick-or-treater around thanks to Hallow-Ho Costumes.
Boo, baby.
Hallow-Ho Costumes has all your naughty favorites like Naughty Nurse, Officer Naughty, and Naughty Pirate.
Arr.
Plus, Hallow-Ho has new naughty numbers like Naughty Lunch Lady, Naughty Illegal Immigrant, and Naughty Proctologist.
You might feel a slight discomfort.
There's also Naughty Mother Teresa, Naughty Walmart Greeter, and Naughty Amoeba.
I'm a single cell of scary sexiness. Ooh.
It's all at Hallow-Ho Costumes, serving spooky sluts for over 17 years.
10:01 at 560 WQM. Happy Halloween. Happy Wednesday, October 31st. Okay, now what's this? Let's get right into it, because I didn't obviously hear any of this.
Well, I just, on the drive in this morning, right when I got in here...
No.
Oh, what's the matter?
You're not going to tell me what Chris already told me about across the street, Sid the It. Is that what you want to tell me about?
That's
I don't care. You see, unfortunately, there are other people, I guess, who haven't been doing this long enough. They don't understand that getting sucked into that business, when other people talk about you all the time, what they're trying to do is attract your attention and have you give them publicity, and they're trying to siphon off of your listening audience. Ain't going to happen, Sid. Bye-bye. Hightail it back to New York, baby. Maybe Imus will put you on in December. I'm not playing that game. I don't give a crap what he says, what anybody... And I also don't give a crap about that station. How do you like that, Zach?
Me either.
I couldn't care less about that place. It's that's not our competition on this show, which, of course, we have many people, including our management, too stupid to understand that. I don't care. Good news is my blood sugar is 100 points less than it was yesterday.
So even less stressful.
Great.
Less stressful in 24 hours.
No, it's not less stressful. It's just that I made up my mind. It's called survival. If you have a desire to stay alive and you're diabetic, you say, oh, no more crap. So for the next several days anyway, I got to get off all that crap. I just can't do it. I like it, but I can't eat it. Guess who died? Somebody neither one of you will, well, you probably know the name.
Who?
Robert Goulet is dead.
Oh, yeah, I know him.
Yeah, we know that.
My God.
Robert Goulet with the mustache and the big deep voice. Well, guess what? He must have been a heavy smoker. Robert Goulet, the handsome big voice baritone whose Broadway debut in Camelot launched an award-winning stage and recording career, died. He was 73. The singer died this morning in an L.A. hospital while waiting a lung transplant, said Goulet spokesman Norm Johnson. Maybe he was awaiting a Johnson transplant. He had been awaiting a lung transplant at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in L.A. after being found last month to have a rare form of pulmonary fibrosis. Goulet remained in good spirits even as he waited for the transplant, said Vera Goulet, his wife of 25 years. Just watch my vocal cords, she said he told doctors before they inserted a breathing
Black cube.
The Massachusetts... well, they're right next to each other.
Black cube.
The Massachusetts-born Goulet, who spent much of his youth in Canada, gained stardom in 1960 with Camelot. Goulet played Sir Lancelot, the arrogant French knight who falls in love with Guinevere. He became a hit with American TV viewers with appearances on The Ed Sullivan Show and other programs. Sullivan labeled him the American baritone from Canada, where he had already been a popular star in the 50s, hosting his own show called General Electric Showtime. Robert Goulet is dead.
Oh, my God.
Wow, it's going around, man. Better watch it. Don't get hit by the death bug. So I thought when Joe made that crack there that there was something said on their show.
No.
No? Well, that's sad. So in other words, I should feel free to knock them all I want and they're not going to respond? Because I don't really care whether they do or not. They can say whatever they want. I remember you were asking me yesterday an embarrassing question about which morning show did I think was worse?
Yes.
Don't ask the question today. See, the problem, Chris gets stuck in traffic, and with no George there, Chris doesn't show up till like 9 o'clock every morning now.
Yeah, and I'm leaving early.
So I'm sitting here from like about 8:20 or 8:25 until 9, and I don't have to listen. I could turn the monitor down, but then I would never know when Chris shows up, when the audio craps out, and when when you shut it off. So I'm sitting here and I've got that on in the background, and all I'm hearing is bop 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 bop, spots and more spots, and the heat, and a lot of that, but mostly spots.
The association.
It makes me think back to the days of WFTL, the original WFTL, the light bulb. And Mr. Ego, he was the one that started all of that, and I guess he's probably still doing that in order to make a living to stay alive and support his 85 kids. But it was some of the worst excuse for radio in history because everybody was on there, Norma Kent and Alice Rantel and Craig Worthing and Mr. Ego, of course, doing 6,000 live spots. And then they would record the live spots, and every commercial break would have a bunch of other live spots recorded by the other people on the air, in addition to the live spots being done by whoever was on live at the moment, if you catch my drift. I'm sure you do.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't complain about our new morning show with Big Dog and Jax because there isn't any. We just have spots. And a little bit of screaming every now and then, a little bit NBA noise, like that, whatever they were playing this morning there. I don't know what it was. See, I don't care about the NBA, so obviously I'm not the least bit interested in whatever that was all about. I don't care about the Heat, about the Bulls, about the Lakers, about Kobe, about Shaq, about any of that.
What about
I could be wrong, but... Huh?
What about college football? Get Kirk Herbstreit on today.
Minimal. Very minimal. Why do I care about college football? I went to Michigan State, which is like a girls' team. We don't care. Although, didn't they win last week and they beat Iowa? They were way ahead, I know that.
I believe they did.
You believe they did is an answer to the question? You're supposed to be from the sports part of this radio station, and I believe they did as an answer to the question?
Yep.
Did they win the game or what?
I'm going to double check for you.
You are so fat. Anyway, let's get to the poll stuff here, okay? I don't want to.
No ice cream last night, though. By the way.
Good for you. I'm telling you, man. Believe me when I tell you, if I ever tell you any advice, I don't tell other people how to live their lives, but I try to be helpful though. Don't get diabetic. Don't do it. While you're young enough to lose the weight, don't become diabetic. It's horrible. It's nasty. And then, of course, if you let it get out of control, then it really becomes nasty when you start with the amputations and the kidney failures and the blindness and all of these pleasant things that God has in store for us, because the Lord works in mysterious ways. He's a loving God.
They lost in overtime.
What?
They lost in overtime.
They lost in overtime. Michigan State, like I said.
34-27.
So what do I care about college football then? I don't. It's not like one of those football factories like Alabama or, you know the ones. A football factory, USC, those. Here's the poll from yesterday. What's the best perk Neil can look forward to on turning 65 on Monday? Monday, November 5th, I'll be 65. I'll be older than sawdust, baby. An old fart. I mean, an old... Don't say fart. Monthly Social Security checks, $269. I could start collecting them right away, pronto, but I'm not going to do it. Because if you wait till you're like 70, then you get more.
That's the way to go.
But, of course, then if you die when you're like 68 or 9, he could have had his Social Security. If he's ever on a sinking ship, children, women, and old people get the first lifeboats. I said chip again, and that's because I am on a sinking ship. 206. Half price off the early bird special, $164, but I'd have to come back to South Florida for that. I don't think that's going to happen. Not old enough yet. Can I tell you the perfect age for living in South Florida?
Death,
that's it. Good guess. If he's ever assaulted, there's an added criminal charge for being up an old fart, $155. The senior citizen discount, $120. That's what I want, Sonny. I want my senior citizen discount. I'm an old fart, and therefore I deserve something special. A bigger federal tax deduction, $114. Medicare, $91. Free bus and metro rail rides, $41. Oh, yeah. I'm going to start taking the bus.
Or the metro
and
rail.
AARP membership, 28. 1,188 votes. That's not too bad. We did okay yesterday. We got over 1,000 during the show. In fact, didn't we get over 1,100 during the show?
Yes, we did.
I told you we could do it.
Made
and you guys are both saying, oh, no, you're crazy, Neil.
Yeah, well, you know.
I do know. I'm a grizzled old fart. I just... Oh, and then I want Zach to tell us the story about why he's here today. I want him to tell everybody about the honest story about what happened with Clarence. Because I sit down this morning, Chris finally shows his fat ass up, and he says, did Clarence call you yesterday? And I said, no. Zach?
Yeah. Oh, no. Clarence told me that we had stuff. There's stuff to cover today. The Heat or the Dolphins, stuff like that.
Yeah, cover his ass, in other words, right? The Heat don't. The Dolphins don't play this weekend. So
no, but they have media. There's media availability today for the Dolphins.
Yeah. Well, whoop-he do? Let him go out there and cover it. At least he'd be doing something.
I think that's what he's doing today. He's covering.
Good.
Today.
Get him out of the building and don't let him back in. And
I was taken off it so I could work the Neil Rogers show.
No, that's not the real story. The story was that he said he was going to call me and tell me that you couldn't work this show today because he had to assign you to go out and cover the dolphin crap. Isn't that the real story?
I believe he was going to call you after the show.
Well, guess what? Nobody called me, and then he called you back a half hour later and said, can the so-and-so, whatever his name is, Greg, cover the dolphin thing by himself? And you said, sure. He said, okay, well, go ahead and whatever. Isn't that correct?
Yeah.
You are such a wuss, man. I'm embarrassed. Oh, I see Sean, Pole Sean, not to be confused with Sean Felix the cat guy. Sean in Hollywood has got a couple of polls here. The worst thing that ever happened to you or the best thing that ever happened to you? Wow. Whoopie-doo. Nice job, Sean. Good. Today's poll, we got 764 vote. So we'll do 1,000 easy today. No sweat. No pressure. How much of the Neil Rogers Show do you listen to? This is moderately interesting. All of it, I'm an addict. I can't quit. 212. Well, we love all those people. None of it, but I still check out Neil's website, 135. 17.6% who voted on the poll say they don't listen to any of the show, but they just check out the website. Do you believe that?
No.
No.
2 hours, 110. A half hour, more or less, 105. 772 vote now. Just long enough to hear if the old coot is still alive, 71. I'm still alive! I'm going to do a lot of shouting now. It seems to work for the morning show. I'm going to shout a lot.
Got to do a live spot, too, though.
3 hours. Oh, I'm doing one in a second. 3 hours, 58. All of it, and I re-listened to part of it on the archives, 50. That's sick. The 1 to 2 hour, only 10. The 10 to 11 hour, only 10. The 12 to 1 hour, only 8. And the 11 to noon hour, only 2. Which I don't understand. I can understand noon to 1, like maybe people on their lunch break, stuff like that. But we'll take
maybe
anything.
Early lunch. Maybe
we'll
early
take
lunch.
anything we can get. 12 minutes after 10 at 560 WQM.
Oh, God.
After dark when the lights are low, kids are walking up and down the road. Some are wearing costumes, some are wearing masks. There's one thing that they ask. Will you give them something sweet when they come yelling trick or treat? Give them something bite-sized. Everything is fine, then they won't key your car. They won't TP your yard. 'Cause it is Halloween. Trick or treating for jellybeans. Halloween. Kids dressed up just like Frankenstein. Oh yeah. They will come to your house until your candy runs out. Ooh, they all try to look mean, 'cause it is Halloween.
10:17, it's Halloween, all right, baby, and all the gremlins and the goblins and the spooks are going to be out there tonight. Make no mistake about that. You know
What'd you say?
You heard what I said. All the gremlins are going to be out. Now, what's that candy? Kernel corn, candy corn? You know
Candy
what I'm talking
corn?
about. Is that it?
Yeah, it looks
That is
like
the-
orange and yellow and everything.
Yeah, that's the nastiest tasting crap. Give out a lot of that stuff. Maybe we can, finish off with Halloween. I don't mind it. I mean, people are having fun, which is fine. Life is short. Have some fun. But I don't like those pain-in-the-ass people that come down the street with their kids and knocking on the door and banging on their, and, go away, okay? I'm not there anyway, so it doesn't bother me. And like I said, in this building, no se permisa aquí, not allowed.
It's going to be real rainy tonight,
804 votes on our poll, by the way. We're smoking today. I think we're on fire. Let me just offer a programming suggestion. Not that anybody on this station would ever listen to it, but for anybody out there who might someday be in radio in a management position and who might be, in a position to make these decisions, any commercial break that contains more than one live spot should be illegal, should not be allowed. Now, what are you laughing about? Am I right?
You were 100% right.
Any commercial. I remember when Joe first came to this, when I first came to QM, and Joe Rose and Defoe and Geldy were on the morning show, the worst team. And Joe was apoplectic about the long, ponderous commercial breaks and the fact that they had all these live spots. Every commercial break would consist of Joe doing a live spot and Defoe doing a live spot and Geldy doing a live spot, plus a bunch of other recorded spots. And by the time you got through, you were exhausted. You were exhausted. Just, are we ever going to have any program here? No. We're not here for programming and entertainment. We're here for spots. Give us the spots! We want the money, baby! That's what we're here for, is the dinero. And so he comes back, and rather than saying, well, listen, you know, I got hooked into all that crap the first time, let's put it in the contract. Let's make it part of the deal. Like on the Neil Rogers show, for example, we're only allowed 14 minutes an hour, cover 60 minutes an hour, and one live spot per break, which they pay me for all of them, by the way. And you'll notice how many of them are not on anymore because they don't sell live spots on this show because they sell them on all the other shows, which is fine for me. Much less work for the old man and much more money in my pocket. Nice going, sales department. Good. Keep it that way. But it's a tune-out. It's impossible. And like I said, it's like light bulb radio. It's bad. So like George said, you know, George is on vacation this week, but he has his thumb. He's been involved in this crap for a long time. He has his thumb stuck right in the middle of the situation, baby. And that being that if Clarence and Jolly Joe like it, it's going to blow, it's going to suck, it's going to fail. That you know, I hate to say that. It's just my perspective on it. So I guess they thought I was going to get into a peeing contest with somebody across the street. Let me say it again. I wouldn't dignify him with more than 10 seconds on the show. That's number one. And number two, I don't care about the ticket, about Waxy, about Dan LaBastard, about Stu Gotzel. I am trying to help Stu sell some of those certificates, though. But other than that, I don't care.
I'm sure he appreciates it.
We compete with Scare America and with Rush on IOD. Those are the two stations we compete with in midday. And these people are too stupid to even understand that. When they send the monthlies, when the ratings come out, when they send the monthlies to me, they send us and Waxy. They never send anything about IOD or INZ, nothing. Because these people don't know from talk radio. They don't know from radio, period. All they know is, give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball, and
all right.
That's all they know. That's it.
And live spots.
And I want a lot of live spots.
Don't forget those.
So how could I? If you wanted to forget them, you couldn't, because all we're doing is feeding a potpourri of live spots. And now I heard the line the other day about when Joe wasn't back yet from London. Well, Mr. Live Spot, is Mr. Live Spot back yet? Ho, 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 ho. It's not funny, Joe, but nevertheless. How's Chippy doing, by the way?
He's good.
816 votes on our poll today. Well, I'm going to keep you abreast of that. Oh, speaking of abreast, Edford, New York. 20 men have been arrested in a sex sting at a Westchester County highway rest stop, including a Catholic priest, a registered sex offender, and a local Rotary Club president.
All of these things.
Oh, my God.
The state police says the month-long sting was prompted by a complaint from a man who stopped at a rest area off Interstate 684 with his 10-year-old son. Police say men cruised the area looking for sex. Most of the men have been charged with either loitering or trespass violations or both. One was charged with forcible touching, a misdemeanor. 4 were charged with exposing themselves, and 2 with public lewdness in the rest stop, including a Catholic priest. Hey, Father, what's that you got there for me, Father? Uh-oh. Speaking of that, I can't believe when I had my little bit of lunch and my pill yesterday that both of you tell me you never eat a raw hot dog, especially 2 fat slobs like you guys. Who ever heard of such a thing? What's wrong with that?
I barbecue them or boil them if I'm going to eat them.
Or even nuke them.
But for a snack, if you don't have time to do all that other stuff. For a snack, you open the refrigerator.
A microwave takes 45 seconds.
No, 66 seconds, trust me.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
At least in my microwave. All the microwaves have different power, so maybe in yours, maybe you got a high power microwave, although I doubt it. Now, what's your living situation? You you have your own place?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm a producer at QAM, so no, I don't have
you
my
work
place.
with mommy, you live with mommy and daddy?
Yeah, unfortunately.
And you're 30 years old?
Correct.
Here's a 30-year-old man who lives with mommy and daddy. He's got a girlfriend, though. That's good. But he lives with mommy and daddy. Well, I don't blame you.
Believe me, I'd love to be able to afford to move
your own
out,
place.
But,
Well, how about mommy and daddy? They got some cash or what?
Enough for them.
Enough for them, but not enough for Fatso, huh? Now, do you have brothers and sisters also?
No, I'm an only child.
Oh, good. Well, thank God for that. Can you imagine poor mommy and daddy? Let's take up a collection for George and for Chris and Zach. I don't know. I don't know what kind of a deal you got. You're probably getting well taken care of because you're an underling to Joe Rose, the underling.
I live with my girlfriend.
Really?
Yes.
You
Be
also
surprised.
have a girlfriend?
I have a girlfriend, yes.
Well, I tell you, I must have done something wrong my whole life, Not that I wanted a girlfriend, but
I was wondering that.
No, boyfriend. Too late now. Old and gray. No, not gray, though. If I let my hair grow out, it's mostly black, real dark. Isn't that great? And I got all my own teeth and no bag. I've reached that point in my life where I have to start, grasping for straws. Like, I don't look all that good, and of course now, I am 187, by the way, in the scale this morning. Aren't you proud?
Very nice.
I think I'm going to start giving my blood sugars my weight every day down here, just for those people who tune in just to see if I'm still alive.
That's more numbers.
Oh, that's right. Well, it's part of my mailing it in program. Here's a great story from The Guardian. It's news when a man bites a dog, not when a dog bites a man, but what about when a dog shoots a man? That's news. In a nasty twist to the old adage of journalism, an Iowa man is nursing a leg wound after a hunting dog stepped on his gun. James Harris, 37, was shot last Friday while out with a party shooting for pheasants in Poweshiek County in the Midwest state of Iowa. See, it says Midwest state because it's in the Brit Guardian. They're figuring, well, none of the Brits know where Iowa is. Although we're supposed to believe that the Iowa caucus, that's what makes and breaks presidents. And, of course, Iowa is so representative of the rest of the country. Not. Like New Hampshire. Not. The Iowa Natural Resources Department said the victim rested his gun on the ground while retrieving a shot pheasant. As he crossed a fence, a dog trod on the trigger. He trod on it and shot him in the calf just from a meter away. What's a meter? 3 feet?
Yeah, about that.
Although he was hit by more than 100 birdshot pellets, his injuries are not life-threatening. Thanks God, he's recovering in a hospital in Iowa City. Alan Foster, a spokesman for the Natural Resources Department, told AFP news agency that it was not uncommon for hunters to be shot by their dogs. I hear it happens about a couple of times a year. He said they step on the trigger assembly, and if the gun, for whatever reason, wasn't on safety, it doesn't take a whole lot to trip the trigger. That's what Roy Rogers said. Wow, just stick out your leg and trip old trigger, and he goes tumbling by.
So it said it's not uncommon for the dogs to shoot the people?
Shoot somebody. And maybe if Dick Cheney would have been there, he could have pulled off a real deal.
Where the hell is that again?
Iowa.
Oh, my
Iowa.
God.
Now, that's a good poll question. Which state is most representative of the U.S.? Don't you think that's an excellent poll question? I don't know how you answer that. I'm not thinking like maybe Michigan, having lived there for 12 years. Michigan. Of course, how do you say representative? Because, what is mainstream USA? You got Georgia and Louisiana and Florida and a lot of Yahoo redneck states, too. Because it's basically a Yahoo redneck country. Am I right? Yes.
Yes.
828 votes on the poll. We're going to have maybe close to 900 this first hour, and then we'll be on the front page of the freaking Wall Street Urinal. We'll see. Big news.
The best talent.
Keep those numbers coming, Neil. Mail them in.
Radio 560 QAM.
The sports leader.
And hold it.
This is Eyewitness News.
The White House is defending a meeting between President Bush and the Dalai Lama today.
George, you're meeting with the Dalai Lama.
Party with the animals.
The Dalai Lama is a religious leader. He's not a llama.
I know that.
It's not Dalai the Lama. He's not an animal.
Animals or people? Birds.
George, I know how much you enjoy the petting zoo.
Ducks and chickens.
I know, but the Dalai Lama is a human being.
I know the human being and fish can coexist peacefully.
Okay, George, let's try to focus.
I like to fish.
The White House says the president has met with the Dalai Lama before and has no reason not to meet with him again.
I love animals.
1031 at 560 WQAM. 845 votes on our award-winning poll on NeilRogers.com. Take that and put that in your peace pipe and smoke it, okay, all you losers, all you wannabes? It's really interesting. You'll notice when they want to start taking shots, who do they talk about in this market?
Neil God.
Every one of the losers who's ever come down the pike. There's so many. Dickie Farkle and Joey.
Neil God.
And then this clown from New York, this reject from New York.
Neil God.
Same old crap. Doesn't work. Never worked in the past. When you don't bring anything to the table besides just talking about me, nobody gives a crap, okay? But keep it up. I need the publicity, believe me. ABC News has learned the exact wording of the immunity deal the State Department granted Blackwell. By the way, before I finish with this story, because it is muy importante, let me just say this to Zach. Yes. The next time Clarence tries to tell you to go cover the Dolphins, I would, like I told you yesterday, just kick him in the nuts.
Okay.
Kick him as hard as you can in the nuts and just laugh as he sprawls on the floor, screaming and wailing in pain. Okay?
Done deal.
I'm not joking either. I mean, if you're going to get pushed around by him, by a little quisling like him, he's a simpleton, man. He epitomizes everything that is wrong at this radio station, Clarence. And by the way, the Humper invented him, so, we're going to miss the Humper, but boy, you're paying a big price for what you did to us. Between Stugatz and Clarence, two protégés of the Thumper. You notice how I mention that every time?
Yes.
And there's a good reason for it, too, because I'm bitter about it.
Yeah, well, he came in here.
ABC News has learned... What?
He came in here during the break, and I have
Who did?
Clarence to talk to Zach, and I have a little bowl of candy for people. And he starts grabbing. He's like, "Wait, is this poisoned?" I'm like, "Nah, it's not." He's like, "Oh, okay." And then just walked away I'm gonna poison him in front of everybody,
Hey, we'd back you up.
Okay. Let me go get
In
that
fact, we're
poison.
going to be pissed off if you don't do it.
All right, let me go get the poison now. I'll be back.
In fact, the answer should have been, not yet, but if we knew you're going to eat it, just give us a little time. Give us about 20 minutes. Anybody got any vials of cyanide? Because they don't come any more vile than Clarence, I'll tell you that. ABC News has learned the exact wording of the immunity deal the State Department granted Blackwater security guards involved in a September shooting incident that left 17 Iraqis dead. And by the way, for those who are keeping track, they're still dead. The security guards were given a limited immunity called use immunity in exchange for giving sworn statements about their involvement in the September 16th shooting incident. The wording of the immunity is included at the beginning of the Blackwater Guard sworn statement, which had been obtained by ABC News. In each of the statements, the guards begin by saying, "I understand this statement is being given in furtherance of an official administrative inquiry, and that I further understand that neither my statements nor any information or evidence gained by reason of my statements can be used against me in a criminal proceeding, except that if I knowingly and willfully provide false statements or information, I may be criminally prosecuted for that action under 18 U.S. Code Section 1001. The immunity deal was granted in the immediate aftermath of the shooting by State Department officials in Iraq who were under intense pressure to quickly explain what happened in the face of allegations by Iraqi officials that the contractors murdered civilians in cold blood, which they did. News of the immunity deal caught State Department officials in Washington off guard. If anyone gave such immunity, it was done so without consulting senior leadership at State. A senior State Department official initially told ABC News. State Department spokesman Sean McCormick would not comment directly on the immunity given the security guards, but said Secretary of State, the unctuous, obnoxious, totally unacceptable Condoleezza is determined to hold anybody guilty of wrongdoing accountable. Right. Just like Scooter Libby. Anybody, right. Secretary Rice's attitude is if there are individuals who broke rules, laws, or regulations, they must be held to account, McCormick told reporters. Every action that she's taken during the course of the aftermath of this incident has been consistent with that approach. McCormick refused to discuss the specific shooting and subsequent investigation. However, he did say that the State Department wouldn't have asked the FBI and Department of Justice to get involved in the case that we did not think they could potentially prosecute. The kinds of, quote, immunity that I've seen reported in the press would not preclude a successful criminal prosecution, he insisted. Right. However, you know where I get that from? You know who used to say that? Long before either one of you were born?
Who?
Ike. Dwight Eisenhower. President Eisenhower was illiterate as the day was long. However, but even as a decorated general, war hero, he was the one that warned about the military-industrial complex, about the grotesque takeover of the whole world by the U.S. military-industrial establishment. And look what's happened here now. That's why all these wars are going on. It's all about oil, and it's all about billions of dollars for Boeing and Lockheed and Halliburton and Blackwater, all these crooks, all these gangsters, all these grave robbers, all these lunatics and maniacs, butchers. And the public sits by wondering how they can find enough money to scrape together to pay the damn mortgage payment. 860 votes on there. Of course, Zach don't have to worry about such things because he lives with his girlfriend.
Yes.
And Chris don't worry about it because he lives with Mommy and Daddy. Well, let me ask you something, Chris. I don't want to make you feel bad.
Okay.
But how long? I mean, what's your long range plan? I mean, how long do you plan?
Well,
living
I'm
with Mommy
trying
and Daddy?
to. It's not.
Are they trying to muscle you out? Are they?
No. They're not muscling me out. I mean, as long as I do stuff around there, help do things, everything. They're
like chores.
Yeah, chores, cut the grass, pay some bills. I pay a couple bills because, I'm the one that usually uses cable TV, so I pay that and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah.
How can a guy like you afford cable TV?
Well, because I can afford the cable TV as long as I don't have to pay for the apartment to watch the cable TV in right now.
Oh,
you
okay.
see?
Yeah, that's a better choice. You're right.
Yeah, so I'm trying to save up some money. I'm trying to hopefully, when our new year starts here, maybe they'll all of a sudden open up the purse strings a little bit, and then I can move out.
Never going to happen.
Well, I can hope.
They're going to open up the purse strings, and you think you're going to benefit if they did that? They're going to take
throw
care
me
of
a shekel or something.
Haven't
like
you
that,
been here long enough to see what happens to people who work on this show? Didn't you see the episode yesterday where Clarence tried to play Butch Boss, and he was going to make sure that Zach wasn't here on the show today so he could stick his boyfriend Robert Creeper on the board, in which case I would not be here talking right now. God only knows what would be on, but it would not be me.
And we're glad you're here.
If he ever sticks Robert Creeper on this show in any way, shape, or form, you can count me out that day. I'm going to have one of my sick days. And contrary to that putz that wrote that 85-page scathing crap the other day, I have almost no sick days. Maybe 2 in the last 2 years. And both because of psychotic breakdowns. It's just one of those things. But physically, it's amazing, isn't it, for a guy that doesn't take care of himself at all and that had that horrendous blood sugar yesterday? I'm going to go get my meter, mister. I'm going to go get my Johnny meter during the break. Although you don't want to do that again, do you? Because I don't want to waste all those strips. They're like 88 cents a piece.
We should have an hour, every hour you should, check it so we could know on the show.
We can, track it.
We'll track it,
People, we could promote that. Of course, we don't promote anything, but that would be different anyway. Tune in to hear Neil's blood sugar this hour.
Be careful. You'll be doing live spots for your strips.
That's a good. Hey, you know something? If I could get them, I would do the spots if I could get the strips for free, or at a very reduced price. They are expensive as hell, and you use several of them a day, like maybe 8 or 10 or 15. When your sugar is high, you use a lot of them because you're in a panic. I better take my blood sugar. I better see if those pills are kicking in yet. I better go eat a raw weenie and take a pill again. I'm not going to do that today. Maybe till about 1 o'clock. I don't know. Just a piece of weenie.
Didn't you have a third of one yesterday? Is that what you said?
Yeah, a little chunk. Didn't help, though. It wasn't until later in the day that number... And when your sugar is high for an extended period of time, it takes like 2, 3, 4 days before you get it back down under a ridiculous number where it really needs to be.
That means no ice cream today.
No crap today of any kind. In fact, it might be Woodbine Wednesday. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, you're going.
868 on the poll. Man, that's good. We're not going to read it. I'll read it once an hour. And then we'll do the blood sugar once an hour. And then all those numbers, man, we don't have time left for anything except live spots. For example, week after week, more and more people are taking advantage of Neil's half-price deals on WQM.com. By the way, you'll notice there's only one live spot per break on this show. We don't sit here and do beep, 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 and have like 15 different people doing spots, which is an insult to your intelligence and a grotesque, unacceptable piece of radio. And I use the term radio loosely in that context. And this Thursday, tomorrow, we've got another new restaurant offer. Just go to WQM.com and click on Neil's half-price deals. You'll be able to buy $100 certificates for just $50 to Maccabi Steakhouse and Bar in prestigious South Miami. Maccabi features one of the finest dining experiences in town. Meat lovers can feast on their 22-ounce juicy ribeye seasoned with kosher salt and 5-blend peppercorn. Seafood fans can enjoy seasoned jumbo crab served with a house mustard sauce and roasted garlic butter. And don't forget about their Australian lamb chops, double cut and served with balsamic reduction and fresh mint-infused oil. And for dessert, and they are bringing food tomorrow, be sure and try their Death by Chocolate dessert, flourless dark chocolate with chocolate ice cream. We'll let Zach... Oh, that's right, you won't be there. Well, you can still come by. And I'm sure you probably will. That's Maccabi Steakhouse and Bar, 5861 Sunset Drive in South Miami. For reservations and info, call 305-662-4417 or visit MaccabiSteakhouse.com. My way of saying thanks to you for sticking with us in spite of all this crap here. That's every Thursday at noon on WQAM.com.
The biggest names.
The best talent.
This is Neil Rogers.
Sports Radio 560 QAM.
The sports leader.
Floridians, dumb as dirt.
Public transportation stinks up the environment and promotes global warming. Hiya, pal. Rosie O'Donnell here. To reduce greenhouse emissions, I bought here an entire fleet of buses that run on biodiesel type fuel. They run on almost anything, but they gotta be driven by a diesel type. No, I mean anything. Look, I'll just eat this here bag of French fries and Zeppelis. Now, just bite into this tube. Now, just watch how smooth this baby runs. Well, we're still working on it. Now, if you still don't think it's not a good alternative to oil, let's ask this Republican oil exec over here. Hiya, Mr. Oil Man. Say, you think I got a chance with this here biodiesel dyke? That was a good one.
10:45 at 560 WQMC. I almost sound like I'm alive and human today, although my blood sugar is not all that good. It's still it's 276 right now.
Well, it's getting lower.
Well, no, when I got up, when I woke up this morning, it was like 230 or something like that. It was still 100 points too high, plus, but, much better than yesterday. Rome wasn't built in a day, 878 on the poll. How much of the Neil Rogers show do you listen to? See, here's more numbers for the sending it in, the mailing it in guy. You're mailing it in! Yeah, I am. And getting paid a lot of money for it, too. So screw off, jackass. Go do a live spot. All of it. I'm an addict. I can't quit it. 243. 28% of the audience listens every minute. None of it, but I still check Neil's website. 142, 16%. We don't believe you, but that's okay. Website is there. There's no charge. You don't have to pay to go on our website. You know who was doing that for a while?
Are you sure?
Yeah. Crazy Phil. He used to be Funny Phil, and then he became Crazy Phil. 2 hours, 127. Length of listenership. That's what it's all about, Jolly Joe and Clarence. Length of listenership. That's one of the keys to success. Length of listenership as opposed to turning people off with 85 minutes breaks and 600 live spots. Half an hour more or less, 127. Just long enough to hear if the old coot is still alive, 81. I'm alive. Now go away. 3 hours, 69. All of it, and I re-listened to part of it on the archives, 58. Now keep in mind, Charlie B. made this poll. And, you know, he's such a groupie that it's this is the reason that he puts these butt-sucking choices on here. Just
he loves it.
He's out of control. He's ridiculous. He's embarrassing. But keep the polls coming, Charlie. 58. Listen to all of it and the archives. The 1 to 2 hour only 11. The 10 to 11 hour only 11. The 12 to 1 hour only 9. And the 11 to 12 hour only 2. Solamente dos, 11 to 12 hour. I wonder why that is.
Early breakfast, early lunch, whatever it is.
What the hell are you talking about?
That's why they only listen 11 to 12. Or the
886 on the poll now. We're going to be over 900 by the top there. We're pretty damn close to it. And then they will fear us big time, man. Then they're already, mark this date down.
I'm marking it.
Wednesday, mark it on that big calendar on the wall there. Wednesday, November 21, 10 a.m. That's the next trend. That's
Wednesday, November 21.
Is it a Wednesday? 3 weeks from today, I believe.
Check it.
Oh.
Yes, it is.
Oh, it's
we had to check the calendar.
So sad. Anyway, mark it down on there, 10 a.m. trend. Okay, that'll be the first trend of the fall rating book. And since it's a rolling 3-month trend, that month of July is going to drop off. It'll be August, September, and October, which means that phantom, bogus month of July across the street, since these people are so whipped up into a frenzy about them, that month is going to drop off. And keep in mind, it's not important that we succeed, because that's unlikely anyway, but it's much more important that they'll fail across the street. That's what counts, that they're going to just fall flat on their face, Joel Feinberg.
That's the goal.
And, of course, we'll do anything to hurt them. You remember him saying that?
Oh, yeah.
Joel Feinberg? Now, is he that kind of an a-hole? I mean, I can't get you out of your shell to say too much about him, and I know they don't owe you any more money.
No, listen, he is a bold owner, I guess you could say, as they like to say over there, and he's like the Mark Cuban, they like to call him over there, but if he's even admitted...
Mark Cuban's got his own money, not Daddy's money.
Well, that's a good point. But he admitted on your show that he doesn't know anything about sports or sports radio, so how does anyone expect
he doesn't know anything about sports or about radio.
So that's not good.
I think that maybe that's why he and Jolly Joe get along so well. Wait till you hear this. This is going to make you so depressed you're going to turn off your radio and throw it down the toilet. I might just go in and crawl into the toilet. If I were a little bit smaller, I could crawl in there and push the button on the side. Despite President Bush's perpetually abysmal approval ratings, it appears his increasingly hostile rhetoric against Iran has drummed up enough fear of a nuclear holocaust, or WW3, that a majority of Americans are in favor of a U.S. strike against the country aimed at curtailing its apparent nuclear ambitions, a new poll shows. They didn't learn from the mushroom cloud from Iraq and all the other cliches that they use. They didn't learn from that. They keep getting sucked into all of this rhetoric from this illiterate doofus. The Zogby International Survey shows 52% of Americans would support a strike on Iran. 52% would support a strike on Iran, while 53% expect President Bush to launch such an attack before the end of his second term. Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton, by the way, I missed the debate last night. I got a couple of stories about it. Dennis Kucinich said he saw a flying saucer.
Yes, he did.
In fact, I think he got off of it. Did you see the debate?
No, I heard highlights, lowlights, whatever you want to say.
No. Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton is voters' number one choice to deal with Iran, with 21% saying they'd like to see her take on Tehran from the White House. Republican Rudy Giuliani was the voters' second choice with 15%. He might not wipe out their nuclear ambitions, but he'd sure get rid of all the porno in Iran. Not that there is any, but... Just 29% of Americans think the U.S. should not attack Iran, with 1 in 5 people unsure about military action. Of those who would support a strike, 28% believe military action should wait until the next president's in office, while 23% want to see Bush let loose U.S. missiles against Iran. Turn them loose, baby. The poll result were viewed with a here we go again attitude from the bloggers chagrined at the apparent lack of lessons learned by Americans as the war launched against another hostile Middle Eastern regime stretches toward its 5th year, the Iraq attack. It is utterly stunning that after the great difficulties we've clearly faced in Iraq, a situation far from finished, by the way, that an absolute majority would favor a strike on Iran at this time, writes Dr. Stephen Taylor at Polyblog. Polly want a cracker? Even if we assume that the diehard 25 to 30% who still approve of the way the president's doing his job are also in favor of such a strike, where did the other 27 or 22% come from to get the pro-strike total to 52%? How can there be so many stupid people? So many dumb people in so little time. The support for an Iranian strike coincides with substantial fears of further terrorist attacks demonstrated in the Zogby poll. More than two-thirds of Americans, 68%, believe another terrorist attack is likely on U.S. soil, and nearly 1 in 3 believe such a strike will come before 2010. Polls conducted prior to the invasion of Iraq showed larger majorities of Americans in favor of military action. Around 80% of all Americans believe Iraq posed a threat to the U.S. in late 2002 and early 2003. They're a threat. Don Serber, blogging for West Virginia's Charleston Daily Mail, compared the speculation over a strike on Iran to another showdown over nuclear proliferation nearly a half-century ago. He said, I was in grade school when the Cuban Missile Crisis happened 45 Octobers ago. I was gung-ho for taking Castro out. Wiser heads prevailed. In the Soviet Union as well as the U.S., he said, the security of the world rests on American shoulders. I'd bet against a military strike. There are enough wiser heads on both sides, he said. Oh, yeah, they're pretty wise, just like our management here at QAM. They're like, raving morons, man. Dumber than sawdust, dumber than dirt, dumber than, as Mad Dog would say, a box of rocks. It's a real crock when you work for people dumber than a box of rocks. Take a puke at that poll, baby. I'm going to refresh it, and I have a feeling, I have a sinking, stinking feeling. It's not even close to now. Well, it is. 8 minutes till 11. 9:01. Look at that number. Are you impressed or what?
Very.
Any bold predictions today on how many votes will
No. Well, if you want to go ahead and make stupid comments, go ahead.
No, Chris did yesterday. We got there, though.
I'm waiting.
I'm saying a 12.
1,200?
Yeah.
Zach?
It's pretty bold. I'll stick with it, though. I'll say 1,200.
1,200.
Yeah. We got a lot in that last hour.
How many votes do you think Footy gets on his polls?
5.
See, they won't show you the number of votes.
That's never good.
I'd like to find, maybe we have George as one of our old friends still at IOD, working for them over there. I'd like to find a way to get in on his private page, you know what I mean, so we could find out how many votes actually are coming in. You want to hear what his poll is this week?
Sure.
On footystreet.com. Maybe some of our people will vote on it and goose up the total, although he doesn't show the total. Can you live off what you earn? Oh, that's good for you guys.
Just
yes, I can live within my means, or no, every day is a struggle. That's the poll. Is that penetrating, and is that good or what? I'm writing yes, I can. I'm scraping by, although I do have 100 people I support. 41.67% say yes, and 58.3% say no. They're scraping, they're struggling over there. Of course, that's the IOD crowd, you know. That's Footy's crowd. Hand to mouth. Unlike our crowd, we got the prestigious crowd. Well, before we get into the meat of the debate, I didn't watch it because it's a waste of time. Did either one of you watch it? No. Anybody out there watch it?
No.
Dennis Kucinich's presidential campaign is hardly being taken seriously by the major media in this country, and that fact was on full display Tuesday night when NBC's Tim Russert took time from the Democratic candidates' debate to ask Kucinich's views on little green men. Why would he ask him a question like that? To make him look like an idiot?
Yes.
It worked. Russert asked Kucinich about a recent claim by actress Shirley MacLaine, a longtime friend of the Ohio congressman, that he was very moved by an encounter with a UFO many years ago. Kucinich acknowledged the encounter with a mysterious, hovering triangular craft, but he left open whether he thought it was carrying space invaders. I guarantee you he got off that ship. I guarantee you he's one of the people that got off the ship.
Oh, he's a little guy, kind of funny looking.
I did, he said. It was an unidentified flying object, okay? It's like, it's unidentified. I saw something. McLean wrote that Kucinich found the experience extremely moving. I had a really moving experience this morning, believe me. Wow. Must be from not eating any crap yesterday. When you don't eat any crap, the smell of roses drew him out to the balcony where when he looked up he saw a gigantic triangular crab. It smelled like roses. Silent and observing him, she wrote, it hovered soundless for 10 minutes or so and sped away with a speed he couldn't comprehend. He said he felt a connection in his heart and heard directions in his mind. Wow. After the debate, Kucinich joked he was planning to move his headquarters to Roswell, New Mexico, the site of that suspected UFO crash. Kucinich compared himself to former President Jimmy Carter, who also claimed to have seen a UFO, and he joked that more people in the U.S. have had a close encounter with a strange flying object than who approve of President Bush's performance. Nice going, Dennis. You little silly person, you. New Mexico Governor Bill... I beg your pardon?
With a hot wife.
New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson, a post-debate interview with Chris Matthews. Richardson told Matthews the government is hiding evidence about UFOs. How do you like that about UFOs? Oh! Yeah, that's what we really need to be talking about right now with all the other tourists going on in the world, all these dead people, with global warming. The planet is like floating away, and we need to be worried about UFOs, baby. Good job, guys.
Names.
The best talent.
This is Neil Rogers.
Sports Radio 560 QAM.
The sports leader.
This is the Neil Rogers Show. This is your brain. Any questions?
I'm the head of my party, and I'll cry if I want to, cry if I want to, cry if I want to. You would cry too if you were president too. I can't believe how low my ratings have gone. And Leno just made a mean joke. When people make fun of me, that's when the tears start to flow. In the White House, I'll cry if I want to, cry if I want to, cry if I want to. You would cry too if you were president too. Everybody laughs when I mispronounce words and say I'm no good at this job. And at night when I'm alone, I grab my pillow and sob. That's right, I'm human too. I'm the decider, and I'll cry if I want to, cry if I want to, cry if I want to. You would cry too if you were president too. You got a Kleenex, Laura.
11:02 at 560 WQM. There he is, Bozo Dumbo, the butcher of Washington. And there still is that hard-ass 25 or 30%. Oh, he's a good, great leader. Yeah, right. Maybe he's dumber than you are, and that's why you like it. Anyway, I haven't read the lineup yet for today, and it's already the 11 o'clock hour. That's not good. You're supposed to chastise me for that.
Read the lineup, old man.
No. We got Mad Dog at 2, the Power Hour with Hank and the Mad Dog together 4 to 5, the Humper all by himself 5 to 7, and you better not miss too many Humper shows because there aren't that many left. 2 months to go, and then it's bye-bye.
That was funny.
Bye-bye on QM for the Humper. That's what you get for foisting Clarence on us. Then you got Dolphins all access with, and isn't it interesting how Clarence turns on everybody sooner or later? You can be damn sure that he was part of the decision-making process there with a Humper. Just like he turned on Duff when he was assistant program director to Duff, and then all of a sudden one day Clarence became the program director, and Duff got pushed into a meaningless title, and then into the sales department. Nice going, Clarence, you backstabber, man. You're evil. You're like the Pete Bolger of Beasley Broadcasting, of Measley. You notice that?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Backstabber. Kick him in the nuts, Zach.
Next time.
Hank 5 to 7, followed by that horrible, unlistenable, as Tom Jicker called it, Dolphins All Access show with O.J. McDuffie and Bo. Oh, boy. At 7 o'clock, 7 to 9. And then 9 to midnight, we got World Series game number 6 joined in progress. Well, we'll make one up. How's that?
We could do our own World Series.
Wouldn't you think he would change the schedule? Is it Eddie K again tonight or what? Do we know?
No idea.
We don't know.
We will try to find out.
Yeah, we'll find out.
See, if he was more concerned about that as opposed to worrying about whether Zach is going to be out there covering the Dolphins who don't play this weekend, maybe we might have a schedule that makes some sense. Philadelphia police officer shot in the head while off duty. They're like breathless on CNN. You notice when a cop gets shot, everybody like supposed to have a nervous breakdown. If some schlumper, if the shoe shine kid down the street, if he gets shot in the head, it's, too bad. He was a nice kid.
Tough break.
Yeah. 928. Boy, we might get to 1,000 this hour. What did you say, 1,200? Holy mackerel, baby. Woo! Heavy, heavy duty. Which is what I did this morning. Maybe that's why I weighed 187 this morning.
Maybe that's why the blood sugar's lower.
No, that's got nothing to do with it, okay? Well, what do you know about blood sugar? When is the last time you were to the doctor and had an exam?
I go for my yearly checkup soon.
Is that an answer to the question? That was not an answer. That's
About
the
9
basic.
months ago, something like that.
Yeah. And what was your blood sugar? Can you give me a number? No. And you want to know why? Because doctors don't tell you these things. When you go to the doctor, you should tell him, I want a copy of my blood test results. Did you have blood drawn?
Yes.
And
he told me I needed to lose weight. That's what he said. He didn't tell you anything
typical
else.
doctorese, baby. Typical doctor double talk. You need to lose weight. Like you needed to go to a doctor to have somebody tell you that?
My dad told me that.
Yeah. A deaf, dumb, and blind kid could tell you that, just by the vibrations if you walked by.
They're not that bad.
Lose some weight. So you don't know what your blood sugar is. You have no idea if you're diabetic or if you have high blood pressure or any of these things, right? Do you know what your blood pressure is? No.
No.
Okay, I'm just trying to be helpful, that's all. I'm not trying to pick on you. I'm trying to be helpful because I know what it's like to be fat and out of shape and just a slave to sugar. And you people out there who think I'm exaggerating when I tell you that sugar is more powerful than any drug. Heroin, cocaine, crack, you name it. Sugar tops them all. And the worst part about it is it's cheap. Unlike a lot of other drugs, it's very cheap. Even Zach can afford it. And Chris. And if even Chris can afford it, that tells you it's really got to be cheap.
Exactly.
Senator Hillary Clinton's vote to authorize the U.S. war in Iraq again came under attack, but her major rivals indicated last night's Democratic presidential debate that the party's focus in foreign affairs could be shifting to a potential showdown with Iran. While Clinton continued to separate herself from opponents who called for an immediate withdrawal of U.S. troops from Iraq, saying, I stand for ending the war in Iraq and bringing our troops home, but I also understand it's going to take time. Former Senator John Edwards of North Carolina zeroed in on Clinton's vote for a congressional resolution that declared Iran's Revolutionary Guard a terrorist organization. That vote, he said, cleared the way for President Bush to invade Iran. I mean, has anybody read this thing, Edwards asked? I mean, it literally gave Bush and Cheney exactly what they wanted. The contention over the Iran resolution was the sharpest disagreement in a debate that saw Clinton come under a gang assault from a field of rivals hoping to chip away at her commanding lead in national polls. Clinton, Edwards, and most of the other major Democratic contenders gathered in Philadelphia for the debate, which was telecast on MSNBC. I forgot all about it, thank God. Also on stage were Barack Obama, Chris Dodd, Joe Biden, Bill Richardson, and little Dennis Kucinich with his flying saucer. NBC News and the Democratic National Committee excluded former Senator Mike Gravel of Alaska on grounds he didn't meet fundraising and polling thresholds. He's got like .000, like the ratings across the street most of the day. .0. Like that.
Not in July.
Yeah, after July. For August, man, how do you like that at nighttime? Who's that guy they got on there? Kevin Rogers. All he's doing is playing off of my name.
Neil, God!
There's only one Rogers that people listen to in this market. It's not Kevin Rogers. Is he any good, by the way? I never heard him.
He's all right. Young guy.
Yeah, and
he got a big share last month. Or that, in that July.
In July, yeah. What happened to it in August? They all die? They all go away for the summer?
I think they turned the station off, maybe.
No. Good thinking. Richardson, a former U.S. ambassador to the UN, said he would be willing to talk with Iran, claiming to have been the only candidate on the stage to have negotiated with a foreign power, which drew objections from Biden and Dodd. I believe it's critical that if we're going to resolve the situation in the Middle East, if we're going to get Iraq to stop Iran's helping terrorists, we have to engage them vigorously, potentially also with sanctions, Richardson said, adding that it was important to involve Russia and Washington's European allies. Kucinich, whose campaign is founded in opposition to the Iraq war, said flatly, we need to adamantly reject any kind of a move toward war with Iran and criticize Clinton's vote for the Iran resolution. When you say all options are on the table, you give license to President Bush, Kucinich said. The war in Iraq is illegal. Even planning for the war against Iran is illegal. But Biden, chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, raised a different specter, saying that while Iran was an important concern, the deterioration of an out-of-control Pakistan was a bigger threat. Let's just bomb everybody, all right? The Saudis, the Pakis, the Iranians, all the ragheads. Look out, you're going to get it. The fact of the matter is the Iranians may get 2.6 kilograms of highly enriched uranium, he said, but the Pakistanis have hundreds, thousands of kilograms of highly enriched uranium. As Clinton's lead in national polls grows to double digits, Obama's made no secret of his intention to turn up the heat on her, a decision that met with favor from Pennsylvania Governor Ed Rendell, former chairman of the Democratic National Committee. Senator Obama needs a performance where the media and the national press say, boy, he showed some strength, he made some points, he looked like a leader, Rendell told NBC News. Right now, the buzz from the debates is he's an exceptionally charismatic, bright guy, but he's not ready for prime time. Maybe he ought to go on the prime time tour. What do you think? Take Neon Dion with him and leave him wherever the hell he stops off. Just leave him there, on a street corner somewhere. Advisors to Obama told NBC News that Obama reviewed tapes of Bill Clinton's debate performances in his victorious '92 campaign for clues to how to ratchet up his attacks on the senator without sacrificing his likability. Looking to strike a balance, Obama took the first shot last night, but only after complaining that reports of an anti-Clinton festival were greatly exaggerated. Some of this stuff gets overhyped, Obama said, but that was quickly followed by an accusation that Clinton was changing positions whenever it's politically convenient. It's overhyped, but man, is she a bitch. Is that what he said? Yes. Now, that may be politically savvy, but I don't think it offers the clear contrast we need, he said. Edwards was more blunt than Obama, citing what he said were Clinton shifting positions on the war in Iraq and Social Security. I think the American people, given this historic moment in our country's history, deserve a president of the U.S. that they know will tell them the truth and won't say one thing one time and something different at a different time, he told Tim Russert, NBC's Washington Bureau Chief Pasty Face from Buffalo. Pasty Face. Asked whether he stood by his characterization of Clinton's rhetoric as double talk, Edwards replied firmly, I do. After every attack, Clinton resolutely refused to respond in kind. Time after time, she ignored the barbs and returned to her platform, turning Edwards' double-talk charge into an opportunity to reiterate her support for overhauling the healthcare system and fighting the special interest in Washington. She has zero qualifications. None. She's Bill Clinton's wife. That's it. Is there any doubt about that? No. Iraq and Iran provided the main clashes last night as the candidates generally agreed on strategies to bring down energy costs, improve education, make health care affordable, and relieve the middle-class tax burden. Dodd strayed most from the other candidates, disagreeing with their call for a massive move to alternative energy technologies. Consumers are not going to be in a position where they can afford the more expensive fuels, the alternative fuels and technologies, he said, instead urging a so-called corporate carbon tax, which would raise taxes on companies the more they pollute the environment. Dodd was also the only candidate who raised his hand when Brian Williams of NBC Nightly News asked whether anyone believed illegal immigrants should not have driver's licenses. This is a privilege, not a right, he said. They should do like in Florida, baby, when the illegals wash up on shore. Give them a driver's license and $1,000 and a, whatever else. Voter registration card, right? You bet.
Prize to be named later.
9:35 on the poll, baby. We got a real good shot of getting to 1,000 by noon today. That would be a real feather in my cap. And you know what the reason is? Got that blood sugar down to under 5,000. I bet you Zach's blood sugar is like 400. I bet you ain't.
This is Neil Rogers.
Sports Radio 560 QAM.
The sports leader.
Can't stand that slut.
Hillary from Arkansas. Hillary from Little Rock, Arkansas. Got an idea from Tiffany. Moved to New York and run for senator. All through the state, people shout your name. Hillary! You will never beat Giuliani. No, sir! The idea seems so silly. Hillary from Arkansas. Miss Hillary from Arkansas. Right out of the cornfield on Hee Haw. Husband Billy is a naughty boy. When you leave the house, he'll jump for joy. White water now just a memory. Hillary! Janet Reno doesn't have a clue. No, sir! You and Bill are so damn slippery. Hillary from Arkansas. I think you should run, honey. Well, hell yes, I do. I think you should devote all your time to it. And I'll just, I'll stay home, you know. I'll take care of things. Taking care of business. I'm a BTL fan, man. Miss Hillary from Arkansas is the damnedest thing I ever saw. You're a twitty little goofy dog, 'cause you never have lived in New York, so change your mind, run in Illinois. Hillary! We don't believe that you're a Yankee fan. No, sir! You're a dope-beating bad Democrat. Hillary from Arkansas. H-I-L-L-A-R-Y! Hillary! Hillary!
11:18 at 560 WQM. Happy Halloween to you. 900 and what we got? 952. Oh yeah, you're right. 1,200 easy today. Easy. Even Zach is buying that. Now, what are you guys getting for lunch today? Anything?
Howie's.
Howie's. I like the way you say that. Like, oh yeah, every day Howie's.
Gotta love Howie's.
We do love Howie's because they take good care of all our people, man. And we don't give them all that much publicity either. How come they're not doing a live spot for Howie's for free? Like we did for those sandwich guys. Boy, I wish George was there for just like 30 seconds. I can't think. Was it Hollywood? I can't think of the name of the place.
How long ago?
Well, a few years ago.
Oh, then I have no idea.
They used to bring in the sub sandwiches, and then the one guy.
Atlantic City Subs?
That's the one. Very good.
I think you just put two live spots together there.
Yeah,
Atlantic City Subs?
Isn't it?
Atlantic is the mortgage company.
Atlantic City Subs.
Yes, it's Atlantic City Subs.
Not A-Atlantic. Well, what is wrong with you, man? Hey, how's Chippy doing?
He's good. He's fixing my hair.
Good. Blow some hot air, Chippy.
Where's Dan?
So let me ask you, what about Joe Rose and Sid the Kid? How did they get along?
They were okay. They didn't get along like great friends, but, you know, they saw each other in the hallway.
Better than Joe and Mo?
Oh, yeah. God. That was a disaster.
That was not good. You're right. Of course, anybody in Mo, you could fill in the blank. And Mo, disaster. Not good.
Zach and I were actually talking about that during one of the breaks.
Talking about what?
The Howard from Boca bit.
Joe and Mo?
Yeah.
I should probably play that thing where, I mean, it's like a cheap shot. And who am I not to take a cheap shot?
I want to give you an update of what took place just now off the air, because I think it's important you hear this. Howard just called the radio station, Howard David, who I get along with great. I thought. He called me and saying I was trying to stir it up. My point back to Howard is don't listen. Listen to 101.5. Let me see, what age group? 101.5 for Howard, maybe 102.7. Some easily listening love music so you could focus on your wife and your family and the grandkids instead of listening and always calling the radio station. He's becoming Howard the caller, like Howard from Boca. Howard from Boca. It's like, it's okay. So anyway, he's listening. So just wanted to get the message out, and don't call my show, too, just for a record. Don't call off the air because I don't want to talk to you. And I don't want to hear you on the private line. Congratulations, you know the private line number. That's great. But don't call because you're not coming on this show. You've got your 3 hours, 5 to 8, Monday through Friday. You can talk all you want, but you're not coming on this show. And we'll leave it at that. All right? I got nothing against you. You seem like a decent person.
No.
And I know you've been taking a big hit on the radio station from everybody else. But it's over.
So.
Me and you, done.
Done. Bye. Wow.
Yeah,
hey, today's D-Day for Britney Spears, or was it Saturday, writes Roger Friedman. Blackout, Spears' new CD, was to be released to stores yesterday. Will fans buy it or ignore it? You guys buying it? No.
No.
Or have they already downloaded it illegally? Did you download it illegally? No.
Yes.
You did?
No, but that was the answer I wanted to give.
Those are the questions for Jive Records as a week-long nail-biter unfolds. No Jive. The success of Blackout will detail what kind of future Spears, described by a family court judge as a drug user who doesn't listen to his rules, has in showbiz. Already there are troubling signs. Blackout has been available on iTunes for legal downloading since Saturday. Nevertheless, however, it hasn't turned up yet on their album chart. It would be, could be if fans didn't realize it was there. But still, on Amazon.com, Blackout is number 6 right now, which is good, but not great. Meanwhile, the single Gimme More is number 8 on iTunes. Jive hasn't released a second single yet, although Heaven on Earth is a likely choice. Stay tuned, says Roger Friedman, because Spears is getting a public referendum this week, and the truth could hurt. Aw, poor baby. And Bruce Springsteen should be very happy. He has the number 1 album, a possible Grammy for Best Album of the Year for Magic, an album full of singles, and a sold-out concert tour. But, however, radio will not play Magic. In fact, my sources tell me that Clear Channel has sent an edict to its classic rock stations not to play from Magic.
Why?
Well, can I finish the story?
Yeah.
But it's okay to play old Springsteen tracks such as Dancing in the Dark, Born to Run, and Born in the USA, eh? Just no new songs by Springsteen, even though it's likely many radio listeners already own the album and would like to hear it mixed in with the junk offered on radio. Why? One theory, says a longtime rock insider, is that the audience knows those songs. Of course, they'll never know these songs if nobody plays them. Magic, by the way, sold more than 500,000 copies since its release October 2nd, and likely will hit the 1 million mark. It's not a small achievement these days, and one that should be embraced by Cheap Channel. But what a situation. The number 1 album is also not being played on any radio stations according to Radio and Records, which monitors such things. Nothing. The rock songs aren't on rock radio, and 2 standout mellow tracks, Magic and Devil's Arcade, aren't even on light stations. Light, L-I-T-E. The singles kind of hits, Radio Nowhere and Living in the Future, which would have been hits no questions asked in the 70s, 80s, maybe even the 90s, are also absent from the top 40. What to do? Columbia Records is said to be readying a remixed version of The Girls in Their Summer Clothes, a poppy Beach Boys type track that has such a catchy hook, fans were singing along to it at live shows before they had the album. Bruce insiders are hopeful that with a push from Sony, Girls will triumph. I'm not so sure, writes Roger, though. Clear Channel seems to have sent a clear message to other radio outlets that at age 58, Springsteen simply is too old to be played on rock stations. He's old, man. Old. Unlike Mick Jagger, he's old.
His music is good.
This completely absurd notion is one of many ways Clear Channel has done more to destroy the music business than downloading over the last 10 years. It's certainly what's helped create satellite radio, where Springsteen is a staple and even has his own channel on Sirius. We're Sirius. It's not just, oh, Neil, you ought to go across the street and work for Sirius. Yeah, walk across the street. It's not just Springsteen. There's no sign of major radio stations of new albums by John Fogerty or Annie Lennox either. The same stations that should be playing Santana's new singles with Chad Kroeger or Tina Turner are avoiding them too. Like Springsteen, these older artists have been relegated to something called AAA format stations, that is, either college radio or small artsy stations such as WFUV in the Bronx, which are immune from the Clear Channel virus of pre-programming, where the number of plays per song is a fraction of what it is on commercial radio. How do you like that? It's not bad enough that cheap channel ruined talk radio with all the right-wing swill that they put on the air, but now they're like also ruining, well, they have been doing it for years. Ruining music. Of course, in South Florida, it'd be hard to ruin music radio. Oh, and guess what? Speaking of music radio, Ricky Ticky still hasn't read my email. Maybe he's on vacation. Maybe he's out of town. Or maybe he hates me like poison. I don't know.
Oh, he loves you.
Hasn't read my email. Doesn't that bug you when you send somebody an email on MySpace or anywhere? And well, you can't tell on regular, regular emails, right?
Correct.
That's the one good advantage on MySpace is that you can read the emails. Or see if anybody else read them. Whatever I'm trying to say.
What? You could always send an email and ask for a receipt with the email so you know if they opened it or not. On a regular email.
Just ask for a receipt?
Yeah, it's like a send receipt or something like that, yeah.
I never heard of such a thing.
Yeah, through my email.
Outlook and everything, yeah.
I could send an email to you, and when you open it, it's going to ask you to send a receipt back that you opened it or read it, and then I'll know.
But of course, you can just say no, and then they don't get the receipt.
That's a good point.
Which is what I always do.
Why do you do that? Just to be a bastard?
Correct.
Not nice.
Not at all.
What if it's a bad email and you think it's stupid?
Well, if it's a bad, stupid email and somebody you hate like poison, then no is good. That's a good answer. Just say,
no. Oh, no, I haven't seen it yet.
What?
If it's like a bad email and you're like, what the hell did you send this to me for? And then you see them, oh, hey, did you get the email? Oh, no, I didn't see it yet.
Well, I get lots of those. I get plenty of bad ones, stupid ones on MySpace. And by the way, Al Rogers, don't send me any more crap. You and Dennis Kucinich get on that spaceship and take off, baby. 9:65 in a poll. By the top of the hour, we're predicting 1,000 votes. And then they're going to have a nervous breakdown. Joel Feinberg will be sitting on the street corner of 441 Libsbury Road with his head in his hands crying like a little child. Wouldn't be the first time, Joel.
Best talent.
This is Neil Rogers.
Sports Radio 560 QAM.
The sports leader.
Howard David's a bitch.
$11:31, 29 till noon. Let's just play that till 2 o'clock. What do you say?
That's one of the funniest things I've ever heard.
Is it really?
I'm telling you right now, just from working with both those guys and going through the whole thing with Howard and this show for the time he was here, it just needs to end with the taser, and then it would be perfect.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was PT, pre-taser.
No, don't tase me, Mo.
Maybe I'll add that on in my spare time.
It's hysterical.
It's good. 28 till noon at 560. We missed the Mo Man, I'll tell you that. I never thought I would say that, but we missed the Mo Man badly. He was like a human punching bag.
Yes, he was.
It was easy to do, and and you didn't have to embellish anything. All you had to do was tell it like it was. In fact, we couldn't even begin to tell it like it was. There was stuff going on behind the scenes that nobody would believe, even now.
Nobody.
A new scientific finding that AIDS came to the U.S. from Africa via Haiti, probably arriving in Miami as early as 1969, stoked a controversy among researchers and Haitians yesterday, reopening deep wounds over the medical community's role in perpetuating a stigma against people from the island. That's the Herald now. Fred Tasker and Jacqueline Charles wrote this, and that was the spin in that first paragraph they put on this, perpetuating a stigma. Published in this week's Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, the study aims to better explain the origin of AIDS, whose history involves a virus with a sketchy storyline that began in Africa in the 1930s and emerged in L.A. in 1981. The findings were based in part on blood samples taken from about 20 Haitian patients at Jackson Memorial as early as 1979. The samples were frozen, stored at the CDC in Atlanta, and reanalyzed by the study's authors, including a researcher at the University of Miami. We're seeing patients at Jackson Memorial with what we now call AIDS, and at the time we didn't even know it, said Dr. Arthur Pichnik, co-author of the study and professor of medicine at the U of M Medical School. I started seeing Haitian immigrant patients with TB. They would get better from the TB, only to die 3 to 6 months later from what we now call AIDS. Dr. Michael Gottlieb, an assistant clinical professor of medicine at the University of California, L.A., and one of the original discoverers of AIDS, said the analysis placed the HIV virus that causes it in the U.S. nearly a decade earlier than previously believed. It's pretty clear evidence for Haiti as a stepping stone, he said. The suggestion that the infection was further below our radar than I previously suspected is kind of unnerving. It's unnerving, folks. This is very credible work, added Dr. Margaret Fischel, a pioneering UM-AIDS researcher. Their approach is the way it should be done. Some of my colleagues think this is a really remarkable piece of work. The findings drew immediate anger from Miami's Haitian community and raised concerns among some AIDS scientists as well. People are going crazy, said Dr. Laurenius Pierre, executive director of the Center for Haitian Studies in Little Haiti. Pierre said he has fought stigmas against Haitians from the first day of AIDS, in which researchers blame the epidemic on the 4 H's: homosexuals, Haitians, hemophiliacs, and heroin addicts. In February 1990, the FDA barred Haitians from donating blood in the U.S., a policy that ignited scores of protests and highly publicized boycotts of blood drives. By December 1990, the FDA had scrapped its policy and developed a more rigorous screening of all blood donors. To many, the policy pushed an already taboo subject in the Haitian community deeper in the shadows and discouraged many from seeking treatment, a phenomenon said the latest findings could cause to happen again. This does a disservice to the Haitian community, who feel like they already went through this 20 years ago, said Dr. Paul Farmer, professor of medical anthropology at Harvard and founder of Partners in Health, an international research and aid organization in fighting AIDS in Haiti. This is very slender evidence on which to base such a grand claim, he said. I don't think this is very helpful, said Dr. Jeffrey Lawrence, professor of medicine at Weill Medical College of Cornell University. People love to play history. It would be great to figure out who patient 0 was, but there are doubts. What does this say?
You tell me.
I've already faxed them this thing. This just bugs the hell out of me. I hope you're enjoying your vehicle in this nice weather. Yada, yada, yada. I already sent them this information, but I'll do it again. Very annoying, to say the least. I don't think this is very helpful, said Dr. Jeffrey Lawrence, professor of medicine at I just read that. The study's lead author, Michael Worobey, University of Arizona evolutionary biologist, defended his methodology Tuesday and denied any disservice to the Haitian community. Worobey and his co-authors analyzed the frozen blood samples from about 20 of Pichnik's Haitian patients at Jackson from the late 70s and early 80s. They set up a medical timeline that they say indicates the HIV virus arrived in Haiti in 96 and Miami by 69. Worobey said he estimated the timing of the virus arrival by taking samples of the virus from the late 70s to 2000. By knowing the rate at which the viruses mutate, he said he was able to create a picture of what the virus looked like in 1969, and by comparing viruses from the U.S. and Haiti during this time, he could deduce when the virus arrived in the States. He could deduce it. It's a common technique used in genetic analysis and human evolution, Worobey said yesterday. The study concludes that AIDS arrived in Haiti after Haitians went to the Democratic Republic of Congo as workers after that country won independence in 1960. It debunks the original patient 0 theory that said the HIV virus came to L.A. via a gay Canadian flight attendant named Gaetan Dugas. That theory was created by Dr. William Darrow. I wonder if he's kin to Josh Darrow and others at the CDC, and turned into the 87 book And the Band Played On by journalist Randy Schultz. Darrow later repudiated his own study. Pichnik said he realized this week's study would be controversial in the Haitian community. I want to stress this has nothing to do with race or sex or color of skin, he said. We shouldn't stigmatize any particular group. It's not whether you're Haitian or homosexual. It's the high-risk behavior you engage in, whether you have unprotected sex, whether you're a drug user or sharing needles. In Haiti, where 6% of the population was HIV infected in 2003, the situation has improved with HIV rates dropping to 2% in 2006. And a partridge in a pear tree. Oh, don't pick on us, bro. Don't pick on us. Yeah. Sometimes the truth hurts.
And what does it matter when we found out when HIV or AIDS was brought here? Like, what does it matter? Like, why are they going back and trying to find that out? What's that going to help? How are they going to help anything by doing that, besides getting research and writing stories about it?
Besides getting research so they can help figure out what it's all about?
Yeah, but from...
And help find a cure?
From patient
help
zero?
Prevent it?
How are they going to find out? How would they find out from patient zero? How are they going to find out who patient zero was or patient X?
I just gave you the name, Gaetan Douchebag or something like that from Montreal. Alleged. It was allegedly some frog in Montreal. If you see a frog, step on it until it croaks. 995. Somebody upstairs just dropped something on the floor. I hate when that happens, you know. I never hear a peep, but when they drop something on the floor, it sounded like a tic-tac.
You could hear that?
Yeah, I could hear it upstairs. And whatever the thing is above me.
I like it. I like it.
Real American A-hole.
Real American A-holes.
We salute you, excessively old trick-or-treater.
Excessively old trick-or-treater.
You're supposed to be the one doling out the candy, but you still live with Mother anyway, so she can drag her oxygen tank to the door and give it out herself.
Please don't give me no pennies.
You should have given it up years ago. But hey, you're Frankenstein. You're supposed to be a foot taller than the rest of the trick-or-treaters. Fire bad. Fire bad. More than one youngster is suspicious. But you don't care. You're jonesing for a baby Ruth, and nothing is getting in your way.
Candy, candy, candy.
The coast is almost clear when the Johnson twins are picked up by their mother, who remembers you from the 3rd grade.
Ow!
Reluctantly, you hand over your pillowcase of free sweets and meander back home before the authorities are alerted.
5-0 creeping.
So, we salute you, excessively old trick-or-treater, your disability check, your cavities, and your candy corn. You are a real American a-hole.
That's what they call it, candy corn. Oh, man, that stuff is nasty. Can you imagine how much of that's going to be distributed tonight on Halloween?
Too much.
Wow. One kernel of it would be one kernel too much. Nasty, horrible stuff. Tastes like mung. Garbage.
That was never one of my favorites.
One of your favorites?
Yeah.
Ooh.
No, I'm saying it never was.
But that's not how you say it. You say you hated it like poison. That was never one of your favorites.
It was
well,
poison.
I don't know if I hated it like poison. It just...
Well, you should have hated it like poison. Maybe that's why you're such a big fat tub. Maybe you'll eat anything, you know.
No. But that was one of the ones when, like, you know, after you were done trick-or-treating...
Maybe you can't complain about your taste because you don't have any.
That's exactly right. But when you'd be done trick-or-treating, you get, like, all your friends would get in a circle, and you dump out
I
your
know
stuff,
what they would do
and
then.
you trade. Well, no, that's what you would do. And you trade, like, okay, I don't like this, what do you got for this type thing? That was one that I was always trading away to someone else.
Yeah, Clarence says all of his friends get in a circle.
Yeah, but they do something else.
10:07 on the pull. We got 1,000 plus, and it's only 11:45, and we're still alive, baby. They hit us with 5 shots, and we're still alive. Keep trying, Clarence. Take your best shot, you little twerp, you idiot, you quisling, you simpleton. Now, yesterday we had the story about the top earning dead celebrities, however you say it. But this is a better story because it's got the numbers. And we prefer numbers on this show because if you're going to mail it in, it always helps to have a lot of numbers, right?
Yeah.
A lot of us have been spending a lot of time looking for good numbers all our lives. And every now and then you find one. 1,008 vote on that poll about how much you listen to this marginal show. Just because you're dead, it doesn't mean you can't stage a comeback. Website Forbes.com said on Tuesday that Elvis Presley began the top spot on list of the highest earning dead celebrities, ousting Kurt Cobain, who'd beaten him last year. Elvis shimmied his way back atop the 7th annual list of 13 top earning legends that had ruled since its inception. He had ruled it, with an estimated earnings of about $49 million in the year ending this month. $49 million last year, and he's been dead forever. The rise from $42 million last year comes after CKX Entertainment, which bought part of his estate from daughter Lisa Marie, embarked on a mission to renew interest in the late singer and actor last year. Forbes.com said in a statement that the top 13, who generated massive amounts of merchandising revenue, grossed a combined $232 million in the year. In second place came Beatle John Lennon. He earned $44 million, while the creator of Peanuts comic strip, Charles Schultz, took the third spot with earnings of $35 million. Cobain was one of 4 who fell off this year's ranking. He just vanished. He debuted on the list in first place last year after his widow, Courtney Love, sold part of his song catalog for a reported $50 million. Rounding out the top 5 on this year's list, George Harrison from the Beatles, who died in 2001 with a paltry $22 million, and German-born physicist Albert Einstein, only $18 million. What did he know? Einstein has become a key trademark in child education due to the Disney-owned Baby Einstein brand of videos and toys. The Beatles did well in the latest list of the wake of settling two long-standing legal disputes, with the settlements believed to have exceeded $100 million. Newcomers on the list were actor Steve McQueen and the godfather of Thole, James Brown, who died late last year. Rapper Tupac Shakur regained a slot on the list, as did Jimmy Dean. Rounding out the top 13 were pop artist Andy Warhol, Theodore Gazelle, better known as children's author Dr. Seuss, silver screen legend Marilyn Monroe, and reggae superstar Bob Marley. The other three bumped off this year's list were R&B pioneer Ray Charles, I think it's a racial thing, author J.R.R. Tolkien, and country singer Johnny Cash. Well, let's see. Here's the schedule. Now, what is this? Oh, I see. 9 to midnight, Eddie Kay. Clarence got the message. He finally went out there and made a new schedule up. Eddie Kay. Wow. We don't have World Series game number 6 tonight because there wasn't World Series game number 5, so likely there won't be World Series game number 6, Clarence. Nice work, baby. Nice work. You are doing it. You almost deserve to be on the payroll, almost being the operative word there. You simpleton.
You fairy.
Schmeckel. Bad news. He's just bad news on two legs. That's Clarence.
How do you really feel?
He's an idiot. And then this company, this is supposed to be a multi-million-dollar company listed on the NASDAQ Stock Exchange, BBGI.
Don't buy it.
And they hand the keys to the kingdom over to this putz, who tells people like Zach, don't go on that show because the Dolphins may be out there dressed up in their uniforms, and yeah. Some crap like that.
Could have been out there right now.
Yeah, he could be out at camp right now. We ought to send Clarence to camp. Oh, I got some good lines about that, but I can't use them. 10:15 on the poll. I could use them, but then Joe would be getting calls from those old Jewish ladies again. Oh, Mr. Bell, did you hear what he said? It was disgusting, Mr. Bell. He's such a Jaimiaco. Maureen Dowd, New York Times today, writes, Hillary LaFrancaise, cherchez la femme, ? Too much frog in there, man. I don't like the frog stuff. If she starts using big words in here again, I'm going to get pissed off. I love Maureen Dowd, but she's a suit because she writes for the New York Times. She said it's an odd cultural inversion. The French First Lady, the one in a role where wives traditionally ignored and overlooked their husbands' peccadillos for the greater gain of keeping their marriages intact and running the Élysée Palace, has fled her gilded perch, acting all-American and brimming over with feelings and feminist impulses. The former American First Lady, the one who's supposed to be brimming over with feminist impulses, has ignored and overlooked her husband's peccadillos for the greater gain of keeping her marriage intact as she tries to return to the gilded perch and run the White House. Cecilia Sarkozy acts so American while Hillary Clinton acts so French. Cecilia at one point left her marriage to go to New York and seek love American style, while Hillary lost the public love in the 90s when she tried French-style health care reform. In Essence magazine, Hillary sounded très French, très laissez-faire, talking about her marriage. Now, obviously, we've had challenges, as everybody in the world knows, she said, but I never doubted that it was a marriage worth investing in, even in the midst of those challenges. And I'm really happy that I made that decision. Again, not a decision for everybody, and I think it's so important for women to stand up for the right of women to make a decision that is best for them. In addition to the warrior strategy, the one that led Hillary to back President Bush on the Iraq War and the Iran drumbeat, the senator has a girlfriend strategy. Hillary recently told an interviewer that they should talk like two girlfriends, and last week her campaign theme was Women Changing America. She returns to Wellesley tomorrow to launch Hillblazers, a bid to attract young Hillarys to the campaign. She'll be back in the setting of her 69 feminist triumph as the commencement speaker who described her class's desire for a more immediate, ecstatic, and penetrating mode of living, and who spoke truth to power, chastising Edward Brooke for being out of touch. Hillary doesn't speak truth to power anymore. Now that Mark Penn believes women can carry her to victory, Hillary speaks girlfriend to girlfriend. That tack, Caitlin Flanagan writes in The Atlantic, would only work if she were willing to let us women in on the big underlying struggle of her life that is front and center in our understanding of who she is as a woman. Her husband's sexual behavior, quite apart from the private pain that it has caused her, has also sullied her deepest and most womanly ideals and convictions, for the Clintons' political partnership has demanded that she defend actions she knows to be indefensible. To call her husband a philanderer is almost to whitewash him, for he's used women far less sophisticated, educated, and powerful than he, women especially susceptible to Rake's characteristics blend of cajolery and deceit for his sexual gratification. In glossing over her husband's actions and abetting his efforts to squirm away from the scrutiny and judgment they provoke, Hillary has too often lapsed into her customary hauteur and self-righteousness and added to the pain delivered upon these women. That's French hauteur, of course, the kind Nicolas Sarkozy showed when he called his press secretary an imbecile and refused to answer Leslie Stahl's question on 60 Minutes about his marriage and ripped off his microphone. He may have failed to realize that, unlike in France, he can't call his powerful buddies and simply get the story killed. Hillary surely hopes this is a harbinger in Argentina, where voters just rewarded their former president for his economic prosperity by electing his wife to succeed him. And why not, former First Lady Cristina Fernández de Kirchner said about Hillary yesterday. Another woman wouldn't be bad. Ms. Flanagan is not so sure. She was especially bothered by Hillary's callousness in dumping Socks, the beloved White House cat and best-selling author, on Bill's former Secretary Betty Currie. But maybe the qualities that many find off-putting in Hillary, her opportunism, her triangulation, her ethical corner-cutting, her shifting convictions from pro-war to anti-war, her secrecy, her ruthlessness, are the same ones that make people willing to vote for a woman. Few are concerned that Hillary is strong enough for the job. She's cold-eyed about wanting power and raising money and turning everything about her life into a commodity. Yet the characteristics that are somewhat troubling are the same ones that convincingly show she'll do what it takes to beat Obama and Rudy. She'll not be soft or vulnerable. She'll not melt in a crisis. And unlike Obama, she doesn't need to talk herself into manning up. Obama whiffed in the debate last night when Brian Williams and Tim Russer teed up the first question for him to take on Hillary, something the debate dominatrix never would have done. He whiffed on it. Well, not good. Poor Barack, baby. Started out with such great promise, and now it's like, kind of flickering out.
Fizzling.
Remember my friend Flicker? 1022 on the poll. We're going for 1,200 a day. 1,200 or bust. Or a big, fat bust.
We're going to get it.
Tony Snow, who's not dead yet, former White House spokesman, according to him, critics of Fox News would be better off learning from the controversial 24-hour news network than sniping at it. Boy. Wow. The former Fox pundit's comments came during a conversation with People magazine's managing editor Larry Hackett at the American Magazine Conference in Boca Sunday, as related by Condé Nast blogger Jeff Bertovici. There's perceived bias on the part of Fox because they don't treat conservatives as knuckle-dragging morons. I think the rap on Fox for having bias is an unfair one, Snow reportedly said. My sense is rather than grousing with the winning formula, people ought to learn from them. Yeah, let's have all Nazi news networks, Tony. That sounds like a great idea. Think Progress takes Snow to task for claiming that his former boss, George W. Bush, is not the type to diss the press by reprinting an old picture of Bush holding a copy of Bernard Goldberg's anti-media screed Bias, which Bill Press said at the time was a message to the media. According to Media Bistro, Snow remained remarkably on message during the interview. The site reports a magazine vet who currently heads up corporate communications at a major media conglomerate marveled at us after the interview. I was fascinated by all the questions which Snow said, I don't know to. In communications, you're supposed to have the answer for everything. To us, Snow's question mark makes him seem uninformed like a fox. Uninformed like a fox. Got it?
Got it.
Like one of our management types. Like a fox. Dangerous. Anyway, we got 1,022 votes on the poll. 1,200 seems well within our grasp. If this broad sends me one more email about the ownership of that car... Oh, look at that. The fax receipt says 2004, not 2007. Oh, sorry, my apologies. It does read 2007. I will forward it to head office today. Again, my apologies. Thanks. You bitch. How do you like that?
My apologies.
It says 2004, my ass, okay? What is wrong with you, honey?
You bitch, you slut, you whore.
You know what she reminds me of? Another Joyce.
You made a mistake.
Oh, you made the mistake, honey. Bitch.
560 QAM. The sports leader.
Goldstein, but you can call me Geldy. Whenever I'm in town, I listen to... Wait a minute, I am in town. It's the 12 to 1 hour.
Look at those gay Republicans, those righteous theologians who sit upon the right finger of Christ. I mean them gay Republicans, sneezing, smiling, smokelicans, snuggling in between each other's thighs. Righteous and moral, so they say they are. They like to go forward and smoke a pink cigar. These guys are down upon their knees, crawling around so they can see, and glance from under the toilet stall to ask if they could have a ball. Oh, what would Jesus do? Those gay Republicans who know what's best for you and tell you what to do. Look at those gay Republicans, and you morons look up to them, intimidated by their tailored suits. They're just some gay Republicans, self-hating gays who desire men. Just do as they say, not as they do. Hypocritical fakers, blaming homos, religionist haters, and they're married, you know. For them, life's just a sausage fest. They need some protein to ingest, so they drop their pants and take a chance. to take a glance at another man's plan, or maybe tap a shoe. Those gay Republicans who know what's best for you tell you what to do.
I am not gay.
Senator Larry Craig would...
I am gay. Gay, gay, gay.
Gay.
Open your eyes and look around at what these guys have in their mouth. Gay Republicans who know what's best for you and tell you what to do.
Absolutely.
How about those gay Republicans? Haven't you had enough of them? These godly men of the neo-fascist right. I mean those upstanding Christians, these corporately important men, looking for a hole to place their fight. Those screaming, flaming homos who control your life.
Rectum. 1202 at 560 WQM. Welcome on Halloween, no less. Don't eat that caramel corn, or what? Not caramel corn. What is it?
Candy corn.
Candy corn. Caramel corn, something else. I do like that.
That's good.
Well, I could eat a whole big can of that, or bag, or sack, or a trough.
Or a tin can, right? Don't they come in big tins?
That's right. And what's some of the other stuff? It's very similar. What do they call it? Poppycock?
Yes.
I don't think we can say that. Poppy, right. Poppy seeds. And then there's several different kinds. Not crispy corn.
Fiddle faddle.
Candy corn. Fiddle faddle. There you go. Fiddle faddle. I don't think you can say that either.
What's the one that's got the Sailor Kid on it? The old one?
Old Spice.
No.
By the way, if there's anybody out there, any guys who use Old Spice, we're going to shoot you, okay? Man, you talk about a generic, nasty smelling, oh, brother. It seems to me that the only kind of guys that would use Old Spice would be like filthy truck driving kind of guys. We have a lot of truck drivers who listen. We're not insulting them, but I'm talking about filthy truck driver guys who never shower, never bathe, and just splash it on over their stench to cover it up. You know what I mean by that? You know what I mean, because you're both fat. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
The fat guy shower. You're sweating a little bit, you put a little cologne on.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Cracker Jacks.
Cracker Jacks, of course. How can we forget old Cracker Jack? Take me out to, let's see, I should probably play that. The ball game. By the way, any interest in the Marlins? No. Nice going over there across the street. Nice going, Joel. Another tremendous coup taking the Marlins. A 1.1. A 1-1 in the nighttime in the summer book.
Let me hear you! A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back. Oh, it's root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame for it. 1, 2, 3, smash her out at the old ball game.
Now, you notice the Cubs, in spite of the pretense of actually going somewhere and doing something this past season, stunk the joint out eventually, like they always do. And I think they deserve it because the organization from Mr. Wrigley right on down, he can take his chewing gum and stick it in his rectum. When Harry Carey died, what they should have done, instead of having all these losers come on during the seventh inning stretch, they've got the recording of him singing Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Don't you think it would have been appropriate and a lot of fun if they just would have played him singing it forever and ever at Wrigley Field, like they used to do with Kate Smith at the Flyer games?
Sure, why not?
It's embarrassing when they bring a guy on that doesn't even know the words.
They have all these losers that come on there and like mangling and butchering and like trying to be clever and funny and amusing. And they suck.
I mean, you don't like when Bill Murray comes out there?
No, I don't like when Bill Murray comes on. That's exactly who I was thinking of. I didn't want to say it because I like Bill Murray, but I don't like, even though he's a big Cubs fan, he has no business. He ain't no Harry Carey, okay, and neither is anybody else. Far-bist in a Cubs organization. You deserve to go 0-162 next year, you and your stinking Cubs, although I do enjoy Wrigley Field a lot. You ever been there?
I haven't, no.
No, I have not either.
Wow, you'd enjoy that place.
I've actually haven't been to Chicago, so.
Oh! My God, another parochial South Floridian. Where the hell have you been? Have you been to Boston?
I've been all the way up to Maine on the East Coast. I've been out west driving as far as
Ever
Michigan
been to Detroit?
And everything. I've driven through Detroit on the way to Canada.
Good, fast, I hope. Drive real fast when you go through there.
Yeah, we just hit the border.
Get on the Etzel Ford Expressway and then get on the John Lodge and floor it. Yeah, and
I've been to about a third of the U.S. No, almost a half of the U.S. already. I just have never been to Chicago.
L.A.?
I've not been to L.A. I've been to.
Don't go there. Nobody speaks English.
Yeah, it's
Spanish,
Southern L.A. is not,
Vietnamese, or
all that
Korean.
big.
What?
Southern L.A. is not a place that's appealing to me. Maybe San Diego, but L.A.
I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Travel, I've had my share, man.
How about Niagara Falls? You ever been to Canada, eh?
Yes.
You have been to Niagara Falls.
Yeah, stayed on the Canadian side, and then
well, good for you, because that's the only good falls. That's
the
what do they call it? The Horseshoe Falls or the Rainbow Falls? Horseshoe. Horschmidt. There was some big flap the other day. I was going to sneeze, but I don't think I'm going to do it.
Look at the light. Look at the light.
What does that mean? Look at the light.
Supposedly, if you look at like a light bulb type thing, it keeps you from sneezing.
I don't want to keep from sneezing. I wanted to get rid of it. I want to sneeze, man. When in doubt, sneeze it out. But at any rate, hey, listen, when you get to be my age, sneezing is like a tremendous thrill,
Well, they said it's the closest thing to an orgasm.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of the great stimulations when you sneeze, is to, when you get to be this old, because orgasm is something from the distant past. 10:33 on the poll. These guys say we're going to make 1,200 a day, and I think they've got a point. We might do it. I don't know.
We're going to do it. Come on.
So you've been to where so anyway, there was a promotional thing for America in the 7 or the 13 or whatever the hell it was, Great Wonders of America and all these landmarks, and they showed the American side of Niagara Falls. But unfortunately for them, in the presentation, they showed the Canadian side. The good falls. The American Falls is like, you could fill up the bathtub and have about the same effect as the American Falls. It's very boring, it's very small, and nobody goes to see it. The real Niagara Falls is on the Canadian side. Not that, it makes any difference, it just happens to be. It's an accident of geography, okay? And in this presentation, the propagandists from the U.S. showed a big chunk of the Canadian Falls, and everybody's all pissed off, And not as much. Oh, and guess who's here in Toronto today, eh?
Who?
Hello, Dolly. The Dalai Lama, baby.
Hey, I've seen him speak before.
Why?
Why
Anybody who would go to see the Dalai Lama, I would ask them one question.
Why?
Why not?
The American public, they say they're not going to vote for it.
It was not the knockdown drag-out so many predicted, but it was pointed. John Edwards wielded the sharpest blade, standing by his accusation of double talk.
Senator Clinton says that she believes she can be the candidate for change. But she defends a broken system that's corrupt in Washington, D.C. She says she will end the war, but she continues to say she'll keep combat troops in Iraq and continue combat missions in Iraq.
The smear she's giving him, look at that.
It's an edge to her, but Clinton played the front-runner's game, refusing to engage with her Democratic opponents. She was aiming higher.
Because I have stood against George Bush and his failed...
Oh, yeah, likely story, honey. Likely story. But anyway, she's gonna get it. And let's hope that the Republicans put up like Heine Manouche or somebody like that who couldn't win a fixed election, because they know how to fix them. Let's hope they put up Rudy Giuliani with his 85 divorces.
Fundamentally changed
There's
things.
Chris Dodd, man. He looks good. He looks
for
presidential. He says all the right things. He's a brilliant guy. He knows what he's talking about, and he's got no chance. And then there's little Dennis Kucinich there who comes up to their to their armpit.
And Philadelphia.
Police in the United States say a boy playing with matches has admitted to accidentally starting one of those massive fires in Southern California.
Definitely Al-Qaeda, no question about it. Another one of those young terrorists. Another suicide bomber, no doubt.
Zach kind of looks like he could be Al-Qaeda.
Oh, yeah. I think Zach is Al-Qaeda. He pretends to be Jewish, but I think he's Al-Qaeda.
Nope, just Jewish.
No, Al-Qaeda.
Jew-Qaeda.
Al Goldstein. Polish Prime Minister designated Donald Tusk said his future government would seek to end the nation's military mission in Iraq next year, according to an interview published today. The Polish are pulling out. Poland, a staunch U.S. ally, sent combat troops to the 2003 war in Iraq and still has some 900 soldiers stationed in the southeast, despite public displeasure with the mission. Polish troops now primarily train Iraqi forces and renovate schools and hospitals. We want to finish the mission in this form. In 2008, Tusk was quoted as saying by the daily Polska, he did not elaborate, as in Potska Polska. You know something? I think in my old age I'm going to take that up again.
What's that?
When you get to be an old fart, you revert to like your childhood again. I'm going to start collecting stamps again.
You going to go trick-or-treating tonight?
No, I'm not. Trick part sounds good, but it ain't going to happen for me. But at any rate, what do you think about that stamp collecting?
What is that called?
Kids? Do kids still do that anymore? What?
What is it called when you're a stamp collector?
Philately.
What?
Numismatics is coin collecting. Philately is stamp collecting.
Sounds
it's
illegal.
Called, well, what are you? So you never went into that?
I think I collected stamps, kinda. I think my parents more like, oh, here, look, you collect this. I'm like, oh yeah, fine, whatever.
And you find those magazines where you get like 500 stamps for 25 cents?
Yeah, exactly.
Probably not for like $50. You get like 10 stamps, you know.
Was it 41 cents now for a stamp?
You're asking?
I don't know. I don't send mail. I send email.
Yeah, who the hell uses stamps anymore? I got a postage meter at the house.
Must be nice.
Isn't that exciting? And here I got my Canuck stamps, eh? My Canadian stamps, which to send a letter down there, you got to use 2 of them, for Christ's sakes. Really bad. 1,036 votes on the poll. How much of the Neil Rogers Show do you listen to? As much as I can stomach would have been a good choice. Well, that's not good. All of it. I'm an addict. I can't quit. 295. Almost 30% for Christ's sakes.
About 30, man.
None of it, but I still check Neil's website, 160, 15.4%. That number keeps going down because it's a bald-faced lie anyway. We don't care. Stay on the website. Eric likes it. A half hour more or less, 151. Hopefully more, not less. 2 hours, 150. Just long enough to hear if the old coot is still alive, 89. 3 hours, 83.
You'll never last a week in this town, Rogers.
Yeah, all those guys dead. Here we are 31 and a half years later. All those old detractors from the early KAT days, they're all dead. They're all pushing up daisies, baby. I love it. Hubman Dreard. 3 hours, 83. All of it, and I listened to a part of it on the archive, 64. The 1 to 2 hour only, 16. The 10 to 11 hour only, 16. The 12 to 1 hour only, 10, like now. And the 11 to 12 hour only 2. Solamente dos in the 11 to noon hour. Which does that mean? I don't know what that means. You can look at that any way you want. That's kind of meaningless. But the good part of it is we got 40 votes as we continue pumping out the numbers, baby. Mailing them in.
Biggest name.
Put a stamp on it. Mail it in.
This is Neil Rogers.
Sports Radio 560 QAM.
The sports leader.
Rock solid.
We could suck up to him and be real nice to him and kiss his butt.
Down a mountain road in a rundown shack, you got your good brethren Billy riding Pappy's back, just to sell up freight in a Christian way, after hanging up a feller that they thought was gay. Fly your flag like a rebel, 'cause the South's gonna do its a man for its head. Oh! Bill and Daisy May are both chomping at the bit in the fine church, going dresses lickety-split. At the First Baptist Church of the Nazarene, they got the light cranking out methamphetamine. So fly your flag like a rebel, 'cause the South's gonna do its a man for its head. So freak out, spin like a dreidel, get down, breathe as much as you're able, fool around. Your baby sister looks good, be proud, and do like Jesus would. Fly your flag like a rebel, while the South's gonna do its a man for its head. Any business that says it's Christian run, well, you know they cater only to the inbred and dumb. Can't spell a word that's bigger than four. Base their votes on who invokes the name of their Lord. Education is the devil, and the South's gonna do its a man for its head. Judgment Day is coming down the track before their time, with them good old boys and gals taking their lives. Can't get any dumber than Southern pride. Praise Bush, Robertson, and Jesus Christ. Oh, be proud. You're 25% or be loud. When debating at your center, look around for a brown hole to enter, pull down. Your pants to breathe more kin, have another butt baby, 'cause the South's gonna do its a man for its head.
12:19 at 560 WQM. We got Mad Dog coming up at 2. The Humper's here today also, and then we got after 7 o'clock, Shut It Off. And an explosive monologue lambasting President Bush and the Pentagon as ignorant for implementing a policy of using private security firms as protection for troops in Iraq. CNN's Lou Dobbs said the U.S. military should be mortified and embarrassed. The extended outburst followed the story from the network's Jamie McIntyre, who reported that U.S. Army Brigadier General Jeffrey Dorko, what an appropriate name, General Jeffrey Dorko, was wounded in Iraq on Monday when his vehicle was hit by an IED explosion. He is the highest-ranking officer yet injured in such an accident. He was in a convoy that was protected by a private security firm, one indication of the overstretched U.S. troops, said McIntyre, who noted that the security contractor in question was a British firm and not affiliated with Blackwater. A brigadier general, U.S. military forces in a convoy protected by a private security contractor, asked Dobbs later, an indication of how stretched? It's also an indication of how just ignorant the Pentagon leadership is, the general staff is, this president, this commander-in-chief, and the civilian leadership that we have, the U.S. military being protected by private security forces are. His voice rising, Dobbs blamed senior military leaders for making a grave error in judgment, in his opinion. Is there any sense of shame and embarrassment in the Pentagon, he asked? When McIntyre pointed out that many private contractors are themselves former U.S. military veterans, Dobbs cut him off. I don't care what they're former, Dobbs said. They are private security forces being employed to protect men and women in uniform who are making a heck of a lot less money than they are to put their lives on the line in combat. This is obscene, Jamie. All I'm saying is the United States military, its leadership, should be mortified and embarrassed, to continue later. Told by McIntyre that the Pentagon hasn't yet made any apologies for their policy, Dobbs called on President Bush to do so. Well, then we have a president who needs to reverse course on this policy. This is utter, complete, shameless disrespect for every tradition and value of this country, he said. And frankly, in my opinion, Dobbs told McIntyre, who was reporting from the Pentagon, it's an absolute disregard for the values of the men and women who have served in that very building that you're reporting from.
Absolutely.
Absolute.
Absolutely.
Right. Like I said, absolute.
Absolutely.
1060 on the poll. I don't know what 1070 on the dial was. 1050 was WMGM, WHN. Zach remembers that from his New York days.
Oh,
he
yeah.
didn't have any New York days. So you were born in Florida?
Yes, born down here. Parents both born in New York. Brooklyn, actually.
Brooklyn. Oh, how it figures. Jews from Brooklyn. I bet you've been to New York many times.
Oh, yeah, I have.
Because one thing about New Yorkers, man, they go back over and over again to get a taste of whatever it was that they miss.
That's exactly what we go up for. My dad has to hit Coney Island to get a hot dog from Nathan's, and then Katz's Deli to get some deli in the afternoon.
Where the hell are the good delis gone? Where have all the delis gone? By the way, did the Chicken Neck respond to you in the window, or did you not ask him?
He's not in there yet.
He's not in the window?
Nope.
Maybe he's jumping out the window with Kurt Cobain's kid. I mean, what's that all about? I don't have no discs for this week. Boy, I sure hope Chicken Neck didn't, have some, bad accident. Maybe he's on the way to the station to, beat up Joe Bell because he can't get his money out of these bastards.
Maybe him and George are hanging out.
That's possible, but highly unlikely. Although they do consort, they do confabulate every now and then.
Yes,
unlike me and George, which I never see him, and even when I was there, like George always says, all these people that come to the appearances, oh, you and Neil must spend a lot of time together. No, none, zero. Not that we don't like each other, but it's just, what do I have in common with him?
You're both on the radio.
That's it. We worked together for 17 years, whatever it's been, but, have nothing in common. Doesn't make us enemies or hate each other or like that, but we just don't have any, we don't travel in the same circles, okay?
Okay.
But he and Chicken Neck, for example, they both had their share of chores. Not that I don't have my chores, but if it's of a different nature, I think most of mine is self-induced. You know what I mean by that? I think I create my own problems. A lot of people are like that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't have to make a big simus out of minor things that shouldn't influence me. I should just go ahead and live my life, and other people, comme ci, comme ça, whatever, que sera, sera, like Doris Day said. Que sera, sera. Now, what movie was that in?
I don't know, but Boca just showed up.
Alfred Hitchcock movie, what?
Boca just showed up, so I'm asking him.
Yeah, ask him if he sent me the stuff, because I didn't get it yesterday, which I usually get it on Tuesday. And so far today, the phone hasn't rang with a message. We have a package down here for you, Mr. Schmeckle.
He says his disc is downstairs.
It's downstairs here?
We'll find out.
His disc? What does that mean, his disc is downstairs?
I'm asking.
What does that mean? You mean downstairs here?
I'm asking him Toronto or Florida.
Yeah. Well, what does that mean, Chicken Neck? Come on.
He says it's in Toronto.
Okay, well, just relax then. How does he know it's here then? Oh, because you want to know why? Because you can track your package.
Correct.
And it shows delivered. Well, they just probably didn't call yet. I'll go down there and get it when I feel like it. Maybe in fact, now I'll go down and get it, and then you guys can fill the next half hour. I'll walk down the stairs.
Oh, okay.
I'm only 9 floors up, it's 18 stories. We got a lot of stories, baby, in the Magic City. We got 1061 on the poll. We're going for 1,200 today, which would be a real feather in our ass. Let me tell you right
according
now.
to FedEx, you have it.
Yeah. What did I just get through saying? That he's tracking it on FedEx. FedEx is great, by the way. I love FedEx and I love UPS, man. Those two are great. DHL? They're getting better. They're okay. 1061 on the survey. about how much, hopefully we'll have a better poll tomorrow. Brandon's probably out to lunch, so I won't say. I already sent him a message. Resend me the polls that you suggested, because I think I lost that email. Maybe I deleted it, or it's I don't know. I got such a pile here, especially from Charlie B. and now from Sean, so it's not that we have any shortage of poll ideas here, because you know what we send in every day? We mail it in that poll, man. Give you those numbers and read it over and over and over again. I bet you Footy don't read the poll numbers. He's got important guests on there, like Fat-Ass Jeb Bush and people like that.
Speaking of numbers, how's your blood sugar doing?
All right. I'll reach right over here and get my asparagus, okay? Now, are you one of these people that's like wussy about blood, about drawing blood?
No.
Okay.
Maybe a little.
Oh, really? Well, when you take your blood sugars, you have to do like a little prick in the end of your finger.
I hate that.
Do you? You ought to see all the marks, all the on the tips of my fingers, because I always do it on my right hand, and it's not a good idea. I should probably start at just the angle, you know what I mean?
What do you like?
14.8. Okay, 266.
Not too bad.
Not too good.
Better than yesterday.
276, and it's actually gone down since the start of the show. How do you like that, Mr. and Mrs. America, huh? Yeah.
Less stress than the
Zach has a calming effect on you.
I have that.
Yeah, you are very throaty, very calming voice, very coma-inducing, I think.
That's what
Not as coma-inducing as some morning shows, the ones that have like 8,000 live spots, but nevertheless. Now, so what's your take on that? Do you think I'm exaggerating? Because you ought to defend your buddy Joe. I'm not trying to knock him. I love Joe, but you think I'm over the top with that?
No, I've had meetings with the people in the back before.
And about what? About all the spots?
About the fact that they hired me to produce the show, and it's tough to produce it when I have so many commercials and spots.
And what do they say?
We'll work on it.
They say what?
We'll work on it. We'll get it done.
And you believe that?
No.
Then neither does anybody else, including them.
The best talent.
Give us the money. Give us the effing money, man. The Beatles need your money.
Sports leader.
Who's going to give Ricky a blow?
Hey, basketball fans. What could be better than watching your favorite players slam dunk? How about watching them get dunked in the slammer? You can with the all-new NBA Criminal League. Yes, all your favorite players on the court are now in court. There's Kobe Bryant, Darrell Armstrong, Damon Stoudemire, Glenn Robinson, Chris Webber, Jerry Stackhouse, and of course, Allen Iverson.
Iverson shoots. And he scores!
When all the NBA superstars are in lockdown, the action is locked up. The NBA Criminal League.
I'll tell you, with this much talent, it's going to be awful tough to pick the MVP, the most violent prisoner. Oh, Vector.
They've gone from committing fouls to committing felonies, and you can be a material witness to all the drama with the NBA Criminal League.
See there, man? That's what I call a dead ball.
The NBA Criminal League.
I love these gangsters!
12:32 at 560 WQAM. And don't forget, if you like the NBA a lot, tune in to the, whatever that show is, Big Dog and Jack Show, 7 to 10 in the morning. They are very intensive. Am I right, Zach, whatever your name is?
Yes.
Josh Cordes will be back tomorrow with us, by the way, to eat.
We believe so, yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, you never know with this place.
Whether he's going to be back or not?
Yeah, Josh might decide, he's got
Dolphins tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah. The other Josh.
Are you picking on Clarence again?
I would never do that. He's my boss.
Good. Keep doing it. Rip him an ass. Rip him an ass. I don't mean figuratively. I mean literally. Go in his little orifice there and grab a hold of both of you guys and treat him like a Thanksgiving wishbone. It's almost Thanksgiving time. We're not that far away. It's only about a month away. Grab one leg. You grab one leg, and then Zach grab the other one, and just pull in different directions and rip his ass apart.
Okay.
That sound like a plan?
Oh, yeah.
That's the only salvation we got at QM is to get rid of him, man. He's got to go. Somebody take him out. I don't mean out to lunch or out to dinner. Just take him out. Fox News' Bill O'Reilly, host of the O'Reilly Factor, appears on ABC's Good Morning America to promote his new book, Kids Are Americans Too, written over the course of at least one sleepless night. O'Reilly professes to have been a little thug as a child, accordingly sent to a private school by his father to be whipped into shape in ways including strict formal dress code and a Paul Anka hairstyle. Having briefly been a high school teacher, O'Reilly gives his take on what is transpiring in American classrooms today, what he calls a culture war. A teacher can walk in and say, "You pray right now," and the teacher gets fired. On the other hand, says O'Reilly, a teacher can walk in and say, "Your country is evil, America's evil, nothing will happen to the teacher." O'Reilly and host Diane Sawyer are in agreement that today's youth are unacceptably dressed. Indicators of this include the flaunting of low-hanging pants and burqas. Burqas, O'Reilly says, are an imposition of one's religion on others. But walking into the classroom and saying, "You pray right now," would not be, I guess. He alludes to such an expression of religion as a path to chaos in the classroom and an acceptable loss at the discretion of school administration. The incorrectness, says O'Reilly, of the rights of students, parents, and teachers should be factored in when crafting school policy. One recently adopted by King Middle School in Portland, Maine, makes contraceptives available to students as young as 11 years old. O'Reilly regards that policy as an enticement into sexual activity. It's just a wild zone where nobody knows what the rules are, complains O'Reilly of the pubic school experience. It's a wild zone. Let's spend some time on the wild side, on the wild zone. What do you say?
I'm ready.
Major a-hole. Now, what's this that you just faxed? Oh, no. On this station, you think I'm going to read this? Over a third of former American football players had sexual relations with men, study claims. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
Like I said, send me another 100 pages of this.
Thought you might like that.
How many pages are there? Oh, there's 2.
2.
Solamente dos. Good. This is from Science Daily. A study of former high school American football players has found that more than a third said they had sexual relations with other men.
Oh, my God.
Other men.
You fairy.
In a study of homosexuality among sportsmen in the U.S., sociologist Dr. Eric Anderson found that 19 out of a sample of 47 had taken part in acts intended to sexually arouse other men, ranging from kissing to mutual masturbation and oral sex. The 47 men, aged 18 to 23, were all American football players who previously played at the high school level, but had failed to be picked for the university's team and were now cheerleaders instead. Oh, yeah. They were at various universities from the American South, Midwest, West, and Northwest. Dr. Anderson, now of the University of Bath, UK, said the study showed that society's increasing open-mindedness about homosexuality and decreasing stigma concerning sexual activity with other men had allowed sportsmen to speak more openly about these sexual activities.
Senator Larry Craig.
He found that this sex came in the form of 2 men and 1 woman just as well as 2 men alone. He said that the sex acts describe different acts of hazing or team bonding that often include pretend homosexual acts.
Oh, that'll bond them.
The evidence supports my assertion that homophobia is on the rapid decline among male team sport athletes in North America at all levels of play, he writes in a study titled, Being Masculine is Not About Whom You Sleep With, Heterosexual Athletes Contesting Masculinity and the One-Time Rule of Homosexuality. It'll be published in the journal Sex Rules in January. These findings differ from previous research on North American men who have sex with men in several ways. First, previous research describes heterosexual men in heterogeneous group sex as men symbolically engaging in sexual practices with other men. However, I find informants actually engage in sexual activity with other men, but this doesn't mean that they are gay. Second, my informants do not feel that their same-sex... George would have a field day arguing with that. Oh, no, you're wrong. Second, my informants do not feel that their same-sex sex jeopardizes their socially perceived heterosexual identities, at least within the cheerleading culture. In other words, having gay sex doesn't automatically make them gay in masculine peer culture. If you see a male cheerleader, don't you think...
You fairy.
Yes. Often. Not always, but often. Dr. Anderson of the university's Department of Education said the same situation was also true for the UK, He believes the positive portrayal of homosexuality on television, the ease with which homosexuals could gradually come out by using the Internet, the ability for straight men to talk with gay men on the Internet, and the decline of religious fundamentalism has made homosexuality and homosexual acts considerably less controversial for university-aged men. This had made revealing the fact that they engaged in homosexual acts easier. He said the study wasn't biased by talking to sportsmen who were now cheerleaders, which is often seen as a feminine activity. Those he interviewed were selected to represent men who consider themselves traditionally masculine, typical American football players. Macho men, baby. Macho, not as butch as me, but close. Dr. Anderson was the first openly gay male high school sports coach in the USA. He left coaching after one of his students was assaulted because it was assumed that he was gay. Dr. Anderson is now working in the field of sports sociology at the University of Bath as the author of In the Game, Gay Athletes and the Cult of Masculinity. Men have traditionally been reluctant to do anything associated with homosexuality because they feared being perceived gay, he said. There's been pressure on them to conform to the notion that being male is about having traditionally masculine traits in terms of dress, behaviors, and sexual activities. Yes, if you have a nice dress. But as more men are open about their varieties of sexuality, it becomes less stigmatized to be gay or to have sex with men. It's increasingly not a problem to act in otherwise non-traditional ways. I see this in other areas of my research, too, including how men behave in straight nightclubs, where I find that university-age men dance as much with each other than with women, and how heterosexual men are increasingly free to wear clothing styles or colors that were once taboo for them, like maybe pink with purple polka dots. This isn't something that would happen 10 or 20 years ago. Times are changing, and they're changing rapidly for men of this age, says the study. How do you like that, huh? You don't? Too bad. Move over. We're taking over. We're taking it over. Look at that poll, 1,089. I think you're in the ballpark. I think you got it made.
1.4 minutes, so.
To get to 1,200?
Yep.
No problem. Piece of cake, baby. Piece of cake. Shouldn't have said piece of cake, because if it's chocolate cake, Zach's running to the thing there to get the plastic fork.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
1090 on your AM dial. So we need another 110 vote. Oh, that's easy. We've got an hour and 21 minutes to do it.
Yeah, we can do that.
Little boy?
No!
Yes.
Where are we going to read that Osama married Saddam, that Elvis lives in his car, and that Bigfoot lives in France? Every time I check out my groceries, you always make my day. Look, Hillary adopted an alien baby, and there's a bad boy who lives in a cave. So goodbye, Weekly World News, where the headlines made us all howl. The only reliable paper is throwing in the towel. Nostradamus, vampires, and Poodle Boy. I'm gonna miss Ed Anchor too.
You fairy.
So now where can I read all the future lines without the Weekly World News?
12:45 at 560 WQAM. Speaking of diabetes, you know I'm not taking my blood sugar again right now. Maybe in a few minutes.
Okay.
But I got this from CNN. What does it say? America's 20 million plus diabetics mean dollar signs for drug companies that sell a slew of new products, including a successful drug based on the saliva of a Gila monster and a failed inhalation device that's been compared to a bong.
You say bong?
Bong.
Oh.
I didn't say dong. I didn't say ding dong, the witch is dead. I said bong with a B, as in bastard, as in bitch, as in bullschmidt. The diabetes epidemic is expanding in step with the nation's aging population and its widening waistlines. Obesity is the leading cause of disease, and more than 60% of Americans are considered obese. Zach, and Chris. How come I keep calling you Josh?
That's weird, because that's my brother's name.
Well, there you go.
Sound like my father and my mother when they call my name.
Giving rise to a new word in doctor slang, diabesity. Diabesity. Did you ever hear that one?
No.
I wish to hell you had one of those blood sugar testing things there, and we could put a little prick on Zach's finger, and probably Chris, too. I wouldn't be surprised. Why do you get off the hook, fatso? Weight loss can be an effective way to prevent and treat type 2 diabetes, the most common form of the disease, but many diabetics instead fight the disease with drugs. Drugs, baby. I'm going to start taking a lot of drugs. Some of the drugs treat heart conditions that are related to diabetes, such as high cholesterol. Among the most popular are cholesterol-cutting statins. Don't take them, they'll kill you. Statins like Pfizer's Lipitor, the top-selling drug in the world, with nearly $13 billion in sales in 2006. Lipitor, this is the doctors. The doctors have been brainwashed. They've been paid off. They've been pressured to push all these statin drugs, and they're bad for you, man. All this cholesterol crap. It's just another, it's the quack remedy du jour. But other drugs, such as the pills Actos from Takeda and Avandia from GlaxoSmithKline, and the injectable drugs Byetta from Amylin and Eli Lilly. Oh, Eli Lilly, how's that thalidomide doing? Treat the disease more directly by controlling blood sugar levels. Diabetics have difficulty producing insulin or processing the insulin that their bodies produce, or both. Insulin is a hormone that helps the body convert blood sugar into energy. Diabetics have been injecting insulin as a tried-and-true treatment since the 20s. Newer products help diabetics control blood sugar levels. Byetta works by signaling the pancreas to produce the right amount of insulin after eating. Not only do diabetics sometimes have trouble producing insulin naturally, but they also develop resistance to it. Actos and Avandia work by reducing that resistance. But Glaxo's blockbuster drug Avandia, which totaled $3 billion in 2006 sales, came under fire in May. That's when the New England Journal of Medicine published a report from Dr. Steve Nissen, chief cardiologist of the Cleveland Clinic, that linked Avandia to an increased risk of heart attacks. Much of Nissen's data was based on studies conducted by Glaxo. Increased risk of heart attacks. Do you hear that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. The British drug maker Glaxo attacked the integrity of the study for being a meta-analysis of previous studies rather than a study in its own right. And this goes on and on about how much money this one made and how much money that one made, yada, yada, yada. Fortunately for diabetics, there are other choices for controlling blood sugar. Since it was approved for the U.S. market in 2005, diabetics have been injecting Byetta. I never heard of it. A drug based on the saliva of the Gila monster, a rare venomous lizard from the American Southwest and Mexico. In its 2 years on the market, Byetta has yet to be hit by a firestorm of allegations over side effects. Byetta sales are growing rapidly, with Eli Lilly and Company reporting a 30% jump in the third quarter to $165 million. Also, the companies are working on a more advanced version of the drug called Byetta LAR in the effort to keep sales growing. Januvia, a pill from Jersey-based Merck & Company, is the newest entrant of the diabetes field. Like the other drugs, it controls blood sugar levels and is only used by diabetics with type 2 diabetes like me, which generally emerges in adults as a result of obesity. Januvia's growth has been rapid since the drug was launched into the U.S. market in October 2006. Sales for Januvia, see, here we go again. I don't care about $200 million in the third quarter. All the money, that's all they give a crap about. The world is all about money, baby. Money and oil and crazy crap.
And live spots.
And lives, that's right. Well, that's money, baby. Money, M-O-N-E-Y. Give me some more effing money. That's what the evils of the world is all about. Money and crazy religionists peddling a snake oil for money. One moment, please. Whistle a tune for a second.
I actually like the whistling without the music. I could do that sometimes. So you're ready, Chris.
Okay. The Whistler knows, the Shadow knows. Well, Lamont Cranston, whatever his name. Way before your time. The Shadow knows when radio was innovative, creative. When you sit around your radio and there was no TV. Can you even imagine, either one of you, no television?
No way.
No.
Well,
no internet?
Are
you kidding me? No internet? What'd you guys do back then?
Sat around a lot. 1,114 votes on the poll. Oh, yeah, we're going to make your 1,200 easy. I think. I shouldn't say that. That's always a bad idea to say that. Speaking of religionists, on Halloween no less, Wiccan high priest Elwood Bunky Bartlett, who won an estimated $49 million in the Maryland lottery last month, intends to use his money to set up a school for witches, a real-life Hogwarts. Bartlett, who formerly operated a bookkeeping service, says the winning ticket came to him after he promised the powers that be that he would use his winnings to quit his job and teach full-time. He told the Associated Press that his school will teach not just about Wicca, but also about multiple spiritual traditions, as well as offering training in practical skills like financial management. Bartlett has already contributed to a Special Olympics event, to Mystical Voyage, a New Age shop where he currently teaches, and to a Stonehenge preservation group in England. School for witches, baby, on Halloween. I love it. Witch, and of course the one thing about the Wiccans is they don't bother anybody. Unlike most of the other religions, they're not malignant like the other religions are.
They allow you to do stuff, you mean?
Like the born-again Christians and the Muslims and the Orthodox Jews and the Farbissina Catholics, people like that, who want to, bomb abortion clinics and stone to death homos and things like that. For fun, kill some good time.
Yeah, why not?
They wanted to have that gay, I think they canceled it, I'm not really sure. I saw something about it and I thought, well, Chubman, They wanted to have the gay pride thing in Jerusalem again this year, or Tel Aviv. And the Orthodox, they went H-Schmidt, man. Oh, you're going to kill everybody. Boy, ba ba boy, ba ba bee, ba ba boy. Like that. Nothing like the Orthodox Jews. I sure hope your family aren't Orthodox, Zach.
No, they're not. Although I do have a bunch of Israeli family members. Oh, yeah, they're bad.
You have a bunch of them where?
Down here. They live down here, but they're all from Israel. They all moved down here.
You mean your relatives?
Yes, very the core family. Yeah.
What are they doing there? If they like Israel so much, like I used to say to my father all the time, who was a crazed Zionist, if it's so wonderful over there, what the hell do you keep schlepping back to Florida for, you crazy old bastard you?
Funny, that's what my dad says to my uncle all the time.
Yeah. If it's so great there, what the hell are you doing here, huh? Then stop trying to kosher the house, by the way.
That's the worst.
If they try to do that to you?
Oh, God, when we come over for dinner. We used to go there for the Jewish holidays every once in a while, and after a while it was just like, goodness gracious.
Oi!
play.
Baruch atah Adonai, yada, yada, yada. All the religions all the time, man. It's the evil of the world, and nobody's supposed to say that because it's bad for business, you know? Oh, you're going to offend somebody. Well, good. They're offending me, let me tell you that. They're sure as hell offending me. By their hate and their bigotry and their stupidity and by their money grabbing and all the other crap that goes on. Oh, the Lord says. You know, that's why people ought to be watching that clip Zeitgeist that we have on our homepage, that movie. Mm-hmm. Zeitgeist, the movie. Have you watched it?
I have not. Parts of it. I have not.
Well, you better watch it, mister. What do you mean parts of it? What the hell is that all about, parts of it?
I'll watch some of it, and then I'll end up doing something else.
Well, watch it all, okay? That's an assignment. I don't give too many assignments on this show, like we're in school, like we're in Ding Dong School or something. If you want Ding Dong School, Clarence can handle that. Do they still have Ding Dong School for the morning show? They do that?
Sure. What's that?
They do?
I have no idea what that is.
Ding Dong School, we call it, sarcastically, like Frances Horowitz used to have a show on TV 100 years ago called Ding Dong School. She's dead. But anyway, it's when Clarence brings in the morning people and the producers and sits around and he brainstorms with them and tells them, do this and don't do that.
Oh, you mean like a meeting?
No, Ding Dong School.
Or is he trying to teach, or?
Like an educational, instructional meeting where Clarence plays
No, we don't do
Butch
this
Boss.
anymore.
Where Clarence plays Butch Boss and tries to tell the morning guys what to do. And, of course, if the morning guys had any balls, they get up and they punch him in the mouth and kick him in the nuts. That's what I'm telling you, Joe. Joe Rose ought to kick him in the nuts tomorrow.
I thought that I was supposed to do that.
Well, and you, too. You can line up right there with him.
Double team.
And maybe get, what's his name, Jason Schmendrick there to do it, too.
Jason Jackson.
I know what his name is. I'm embarrassed that you told me he likes this show because he might.
He loves this show.
He seems like a really nice guy, and from what you tell me and everything like that. But
he goes to me. I guess it was yesterday. He goes, so Neil's not a fan of David Aldrich. Huh? And just starts laughing.
I'm not what?
A fan of David Aldrich.
I don't know who David Aldrich is. Okay, excuse me. I never heard of David Aldrich. I'm not an NBA fan. Excuse me. Okay?
You don't like the association?
In addition to it, the association. They were playing some clips this morning, some NBA crap. I have no idea what it was. Did you hear it, Chris, on the way in?
I didn't hear it, no.
I just a bunch of noise, you know.
I bet Jack heard it.
I probably
sometimes that could be an improvement over the live spots.
That's a good point.
Anyway, what do we got on the
You love hearing Joe sing.
Now, I don't want to interfere. One thing I'm very assiduously avoiding all the time for all these years is I don't step on anybody else's toes with their spots, with their sponsors, although Chippy kind of amuses me. It's not so much the name, it's the way that Joe says it. Chippy. But at any rate,
Chippy Boy, actually, yeah.
But the way he sings, would you tell him it's headquarter and not headquarter? How does he say headquarter?
Headquarter to you.
No, he doesn't say headquarter. He said headquarter.
I'm sorry.
I don't know how he says it, but he says it like he's illiterate. And he's not illiterate, Joe.
Not
We've
totally.
had plenty of illiterate people on this station, but he's not one of them.
He's not 100%.
Maybe that's intentional to get our attention. And believe me, I got my attention. Hey, Joe.
The best talent.
Quit singing, Joe. Say hi to Chippy.
560 QAM.
The sports leader.
The 1 to 2 hour, it's a phenomenon.
Lonely, but can't get to an airport men's room? Then call 1-900-LARRY, and you'll feel like you're in the next stall.
I'm a fairly wide guy.
Call 1-900-LARRY to hear more.
I tend to spread my legs when I lower my pants.
Ooh, how long before the hunky, hypocritical Larry Craig satisfies your every need?
Oh, a minute or two at the most.
Oh, he's good. And how often should you call?
Almost weekly.
We agree. So resign yourself to your fantasies and call 1-900-LARRY now. Men only. No women, please.
I don't do those things.
Okay, just for Zach, there's a command performance. I might play that again 20 or 30 times this hour, just for you.
I love it.
And thank you so much for sharing your fat body with us these 2 days, because otherwise it could have been a disaster.
It was my pleasure.
I mean, which would you rather be doing? Being out there at Dolphin Camp with the 0-8 Dolphins and listening to all the tales of woe, or would you rather be sitting there filling your fat face?
Filling my fat face.
Senator Larry Craig was...
Well, that's another story. 102 at 560 WQAM. We got a big, I think it's because Zach is with us, don't you, Chris?
Oh, definitely.
That we have this tremendous response yesterday. Yep. We got over 1,100, which we had a bad start yesterday. Today we had a pretty decent start. We started with like 6-something, I think, or 700?
Yeah, something in that area.
7-something. And now we got 1132, which means this hour will go over the 1,200. Easy. Piece of cake, I hope. I sure don't want to say that and then, oh, well, he's got it made. He doesn't need our vote. We need your votes.
We need your vote. We need everybody's vote.
Just like Barack Obama and Swillery and John Edwards and all those other goyim. We need your votes. And Chris Dodd. Poor Chris Dodd, you know. And even little Dennis Kucinich. He tells it exactly like it is, but he's got no credibility. People look at him and they go just like that, you know. Robert Weitzel, speaking of crazy religionists, Farbissina Goyim and others, has a really great column here. Is it too long for me to... I got a couple of things here this hour that are long.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's only two... What?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to, with your permission, of course.
Oh, okay, no problem.
Or without your permission. I'm going to also take my blood sugar again in a little while.
I'm waiting.
I'll do it now because, you know, this is costing me too much. I can't afford it. I've got many other expenses these days.
I'm telling you, just read a live spot. We got to get you on a live spot for one of those.
No, I don't have any
strips.
live spots this hour. They don't sell live spots in this show, you know. I don't want them. I don't want them.
You're too expensive.
Is that what the problem is?
Yeah, probably.
I don't know, and I don't care. They don't. Although we are sold out all the time. We got a lot of spots. There's no shortage of spots. We only allow 16 an hour on this show. It's in my contract. Still 14.8. That's great. That's 266. Not good. It's horrible, actually.
Better than yesterday.
Yeah, it's almost 100 points less than yesterday. And you wait till tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be. I'm promising you this. Since you guys are going to be filling your face, you and Josh, I promise you tomorrow will be a much better blood sugar day. Robert Weitzel, an open letter to the Christian right. I'm writing to you because you are my last hope. Let's understand each other. I am an atheist. I believe that if all fundamentalist religions disappeared tomorrow, we would join in a better place the day after. That said, I think it's possible for atheists and the Christian right to put aside our mutual antipathy and join in common cause to protect the sanctity of human life. The idea for this unlikely collaboration came from a recent New York Times op-ed piece written by James Dobson of Hocus Pocus, Focus on the Family. He wrote about a meeting in Salt Lake City at which he and 50 other Christian right leaders voted unanimously to join in supporting a minor party candidate if neither of the two major political parties nominates an individual who pledges himself or herself to the sanctity of life. In the 35 years since Roe v. Wade made abortion legal, your side has been tireless, some would say ruthless, in the defense of the sanctity of potential life. Along the way, you've acquired the clout that makes politicians ask, how high? No more than a cursory glance at your accomplishments is sufficient to convince the most skeptical atheist of your worth as an ally. You have succeeded in many states in dismantling reproductive rights in all but name. Your muscle has pushed politicians to pass legislation allowing health care providers to refuse a patient legal services related to abortion, sterilization, and other forms of contraception. Even in cases of rape and incest, you've supported laws that allow medical personnel to refuse victims access to emergency contraception for religious reasons. You've been successful in replacing comprehensive sex education programs in public schools with faith-based, platitude-laden, abstinence-only programs which study after study have shown to be ineffective, if not counterproductive. More to the point, you've convinced the government to fund these religious programs exclusively. By far, your biggest success today has been the cowing of the Bush administration into recognizing the rights of a blastocyst, a massive undifferentiated cells, over those human beings suffering from Alzheimer's or spinal cord injuries or any number of diseases whose treatment and ultimate cure may be enhanced by stem cell research. In your battle to protect the so-called sanctity of life, you've often triumphed where reason and basic humanity would have dictated otherwise. Now you have the opportunity to use your considerable clout to accomplish something that any reasonable, humane person would consider categorically good, though will need to tweak your no-compromise definition of life to include postpartum humans of all ages and races and nationalities to be successful. What I'm proposing is nothing less than a constitutional amendment. We'll call it the Conscience Clause, think rape victim and emergency contraception and religious beliefs. It reads as follows. Amendment number 28. Section number 1. No citizen of the U.S. shall be forced to support, through taxation or other levies, any government agency whose actions disregard the sanctity of human life if said action is contrary to that individual's religious beliefs or moral convictions. Section 2. Citizens of the U.S. shall have the right to allocate their tax dollars to government agencies proportionally as their conscience dictates. What this amendment would mean for Americans who value the sanctity of human life regardless of race, creed, national origin, or neocon ideology is that they could choose to redistribute the 27%, a conservative estimate of their federal income tax now going to the military and its life-threatening mission, to a government agency whose mission is life-enhancing. To get a visual of the impact this amendment could have, go to the interactive tax chart at nationalpriorities.org. If you paid $15,000 in federal taxes last year, $4,080 was dedicated to the destruction of human life, $675 to education, $390 to nutrition programs, $225 to environmental protection, and $285 to housing. Now reallocate your tax dollars according to your conscience. This Conscience Clause amendment will allow the American people to decide our national priorities. If we choose life, we'll pay for it. If we choose death, we'll pay for it. Either way, the credit or the blame for our priorities will rest squarely on our heads. We'll no longer be able to hide our culpability in a corrupted political process. My question and my challenge then, can atheists and fundamentalists put aside our significant differences and work together to protect the sanctity of all human life? I have to be honest here. I need you guys. You know how to get things done. If you're on board, we'll need to act quickly and decisively. Every indication is that the faith-based administration you've supported the last 7 years is about to expend more of our good, gold, and children's lives on a new round of bloodletting in Iran. Robert Weitzel, who has essays that regularly appear in the Capital Times in Madison, Wisconsin. Madison, Wisconsin, that's where the Freedom from Religion Foundation, Annie Gaylor, that's their headquarters in Madison, Wisconsin. A bastion of, intellectualism and, people who actually are thinking and breathing people, as opposed to fundamentalist Neanderthals. Excuse me for the redundancy. I shouldn't be saying this because Zach's family is ultra-uber-religious. And they have a lot of Getchkis from Israel who come with their payas and their talis and their tzitzis and their mezuzahs and all that stuff, all that chazarai. I think if I were you, I'd be slipping them a bunch of bacon cheeseburgers.
Oh, I brought a cheeseburger in the house once.
Oh, what happened?
That was the last time I've been there.
What do you mean by that?
I came in with the house. I totally wasn't thinking, and I brought in a little McDonald's.
Into whose house? Into your house?
No, into their house.
Whose house?
To my cousin's house, yeah. My uncle not very happy.
Really? Because it was treif?
Because it was meat and cheese together.
What I would tell them is chobdir and dreerd, okay? That's what I would tell them. Kaksachois and chobdir and dreerd. And then they will look at you and they'll kick your ass out. Why do you even go there? Why do you associate with these people?
Well, last time he was there. So.
Yeah, that was a while ago. That was a long time ago.
Oh, you haven't been back?
No, we haven't been back. Not in a while, no.
A guy like you that guzzles down bacon double cheeseburgers? Oh, my God, you're going to burn in hell. Treif, baby.
While I was drinking a glass of milk, whatever else.
Oh, my God, milkik and flashik. Now you're going to double burn. You're going to be double deep fried, man. I'll guarantee you that right now. In your case, that's a lot of deep fry. Take a lot of cooking oil to double deep fry your fat ass. 11:39 on the pool. Let's not go there, okay? We don't want to agitate that old Jewish bitch that's going to call Jolly Joe Bell tomorrow.
Mr. Bell, he's talking against the fundamentalist Jews now, against the Orthodox, the wonderful people with that long hair and the big hats.
And the heavy coats on Lincoln Road Mall. In the middle of summertime, it's 140 degrees in the shade, and they smell like death plus 10, man. Oh, my God. With the heavy coats and the big hats. Why don't you people come at least into the 16th century would be good. Just like this Dalai Lama crap. Oh, my God. Hello, Dolly. Wouldn't that be great if Louis Armstrong were still alive?
That'd be nice.
And as he stepped off the plane at Pearson International Airport here in Toronto, Louis could be greeting him right there on the tarmac, singing, "Hello, Dolly," and wiping his forehead, you know. And as a matter of fact, I think he and the Dalai Lama have pretty much the same haircut.
Same barber.
Same barber. Same hanky-panky. How come Louis Armstrong always sweat so much? You ever wonder that? That's a good question. Well, he was a hard-working guy, you know. Not as hard-working, though, as the fly jock. What's his name, Tom Joyner?
Who?
What was Tom Joyner? He's America's hardest-working jock, the fly jock. He does the mornings on Hot 105. At least he used to when I was there.
Okay.
Of course, that's 100 years ago at IOD. The IOD days, boy, I could write a book about those. Forget about all the other years if you can. Zeta
Why
days.
Why don't you write a book?
Write a book about the IOD days?
Just about everything in the last 30 years of your life.
And who the hell would buy it?
I would.
You know what you haven't played in a long time?
What's that?
Read a book.
Yeah. And another good thing about that is it kills some great time, too.
The biggest names.
It's nice and long.
This is Neil Rogers.
Sports Radio 560 QAM.
The sports leader.
We're a bastard.
Tonight on Fox, lock up the bagels and cream cheese and prepare for a wild ride when Fox presents When Jews Attack, sponsored by the Committee to Elect George W. Bush and by KFC, where you can get the new GOP Bucket. The GOP Bucket is all white meat, right wings, and only $29.95. When Jews Attack, tonight on Fox.
Yeah! What's up, y'all? This your boy D-Mike. You see, I usually do songs with, like, hooks and concepts and shit, right? But that, man, I'm trying to go platinum. So I'm about to rock this shit. Check this out, y'all. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. R-E-A-D-H-B-O, okay. R-E-A-D-H-B-O, okay. R-E-A-D-H-B-O, okay. R-E-A-D-H-B-O, okay. Not a sports page, not a magazine, but a book. Yeah, not a sports page, not a magazine, but a book. Yeah, not a sports page, not a magazine, but a book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. R-E-A-D-H-B-O, okay. R-E-A-D-H-B-O, okay. R-E-A-D-H-B-O, okay. R-E-A-D-H-B-O, raise your kids, raise your kids, raise your damn kids. Raise your kids, raise your kids, raise your damn kids. Raise your kids, raise your kids, raise your damn kids. Raise your kids, raise your kids, raise your damn kids. Body needs water, so drink that. Body needs water, so drink that. Your body needs water, so drink that. Your body needs water, so drink that. Buy some land, buy some land. Spin and rib, buy some land, buy some land. Spin and rib, buy some land, buy some land. Spin and rib, buy some land, buy some land. Spin and rib, brush your teeth, brush your teeth, brush your damn teeth. Brush your teeth, brush your teeth, brush your damn teeth. Brush your teeth, brush your teeth, brush your damn teeth. Brush your teeth, brush your teeth, brush your damn teeth. Where deodorant, 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 where deodorant. Cost me stick, it's not expensive. It's cost me stick, it's not expensive. It's cost me stick, it's not expensive. It's cost me stick, it's not expensive. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. R-E-A-D-H-B-O.
Neil wakes me up in the morning. Neil wakes me up with a smile.
Drinking my coffee, munching on my donut, with 3 or 4 on the dial.
Ready to go to school with Neil, with 3 or 4 on a dial. Driving to work in my road with a darling Neil, with 3 or 4 on my dial. Oh, really? Neil, 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 and sweetie.
Neil, God.
Neil, 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 Neil. Neil, 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 and sweetie.
Neil, God.
Neil, 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 Neil. Neil, 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 and sweetie.
11:57, well on our way toward that 1200. I think you got a good shot. And my good friend Brandon was very upset with Chris requesting read a book.
Oh, wow.
So he wanted me to play this. So I got everybody happy and played them both. How do you like that?
That was the first time Zach ever heard that.
Oh, yeah.
Ever heard what?
Read a book.
Really?
Yeah, it was.
And?
I thought it was very funny.
How about if we played it without the bleeps in it? Wouldn't that be good?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure. I'll start packing up right now.
Okay. A police officer was shot in the head at Dunkin' Donuts shop in Philadelphia this morning. A day after another officer was shot in the shoulder during a chase. Would you rather get shot in the shoulder or in the Dunkin' Donuts?
Shoulder.
The officer injured in this morning's shooting was taken to a hospital. His condition not immediately known. Police didn't know whether the suspect fled in a vehicle or on foot. The shooting came about 12 hours after a masked gunman shot traffic officer Mario Santiago in the shoulder during a chase in downtown Philly. Santiago was responding to a report of a gunman in an SUV shooting at another car, injuring 2 men and a woman. Well, there you go. Shot in a Dunkin' Donuts shop. I could say something about that, but it would be in very poor taste, and I'm not going to say it.
Don't do it.
Now, speaking of poor taste, this is the first story that I had this morning, but it's got so much more detail, at the risk of getting people, because not everybody listens to the whole 4 hours. Sexting nabs 20 at highway rest area. Don't you think this deserves an instant replay since it's got much more information,
Yes.
especially about the Catholic priest?
Thought you'd like that.
A public sexting at a New York State rest area off Interstate 684 has resulted in 20 men being charged in a month, including a Catholic priest. A registered sex offender was also charged, according to an article posted yesterday by the Lower Hudson Online. Among others, the operation also stung a Rotary Club president, a man of 72 years. The sting came about as a result of a complaint registered by a man who had stopped at the rest area with his young son. Well, I wonder what Mayor Noggle thinks about this, huh? And Kimba Beaucamper and Kenny and Schmo. Said the sting supervisor, Sergeant Joseph Lutz. As soon as we saw that letter, we took immediate action. Charges range from trespassing to loitering to, in one case, forcible touching. 4 men were charged with indecent exposure, 2 with public lewdness. All 20 men expected to be in Bedford Town Court tomorrow. The only charge of forcible touching was brought against the Reverend Gary Mead, a Catholic priest who allegedly fondled and requested that he be permitted to finger his rectum, an officer who was at the site in an undercover capacity. The Reverend Mead simply approached the undercover officer, introduced himself. As he placed his hand on the officer's shoulder, he placed his hand into the pants of the officer and pulled the pubic hair from his genitals. He then allegedly placed his hand into his mouth, claiming to have eaten the hair. He then informed the officer that he was a Catholic priest, and therefore he should surrender his rectum to his finger.
Rectum?
How do you like that? Surrender thy rectum to my digit.
It's the first I've heard of that.
The article said that Mead was assigned to a Garnerville Parish St. Gregory Barbarigo. Hallelujah. The posted article said that calls to the Archdiocese had not been immediately returned. They're coming up with a story, They're busy. A level 2 sex offender named Sean Cromwell, who the article said had been convicted 10 years ago for sexual abuse of a young boy, was also charged on 3 counts, public lewdness, loitering, and trespassing. And the president of the Katona Rotary Club, John Canslow, was also charged specifically with exposure, loitering, and trespass. 19 of the 20 men charged are married, according to the police. The priest was the exception. Always trust the priest. The issue of public sex in the restrooms has gained national attention following the guilty plea of Idaho Republican Senator Larry Craig.
Senator Larry Craig,
who was arrested in June after allegedly soliciting sex from an undercover officer at the Minneapolis-St. Paul airport. However, at a rest stop in question, at this one in New York, 3 years ago, a similar operation resulted in 18 men being charged. Said Luce of the sting operation, some of the activity we observed was very, very disturbing.
You think?
Robert Becker, employed as a maintenance worker and who works at the restaurant, said, "You can't believe the stuff we see. We're always calling the police," is what he said. Phone is ringing. Well, you know what that means, though? So that means that thing is downstairs?
Your package.
That package, that FedEx, that whatever it is, and they're just getting around to calling now. How many hours ago was it that
about 30, man.
Chicken Act told you was here?
About an hour and a half.
You're just getting around to it now, That's okay. Or maybe it's not that. Maybe it was Ed McMahon who said, "Oh, you just won $1 gazillion, Neil. Just tell Joe Bell to stick it, and and you got all that money." Let's see. The lotto tonight is a paltry $25 million. Why would I want that?
All?
Now, if I do win it by any chance, which I won't, but I'll play it. But if I won the $25 million, I will not be here tomorrow. All that crap about, I'd like to do one last show. Forget about that. I don't need to do. If you won $25 million, would you come to work tomorrow?
Not even a chance.
To give some parting shots? I mean, who cares, Casa Joyce, you don't like me? Too bad. Go away. Screw you.
I'll call the show. I'll call in. I won't come in.
Yeah, me too. I'd call in and say, "Hey, Chris and whoever else is there, good luck to you. Been fun. It's been agony." How much of the Neil Rogers Show do you listen to? All of it. I'm an addict. I can't quit. 332, 28.5%. 2 hours, 176. A half hour, more or less, 169. None of it, but I'll still check Neil's website. 169, 14.5%. That keeps going down, but it's still bogus. We know it. They just don't want to admit they listen. Just long enough to hear if the old coot is still alive, 109. I'm alive, barely. 3 hours, 90. All of it, and I listened to part of it on the archive, 69. The 1 to 2 hour only, 20. The 10 to 11 hour only, 17. The 12 to 1 hour only 10. And the 11 to 12 hour only, solamente dos.
That hasn't changed.
The biggest names.
The best talent.
This is Neil Rogers.
Sports Radio 560 QAM.
The sports leader.
Neil God.
Good morning, sir. How are you? It's Robert Iger, President and CEO of the Walt Disney Company.
You don't have to say your title every time. And how am I? I'm not good. I lost a bundle on the Jets game. That Eric Man genius turned into Eric. I don't know what the I'm doing.
Sir, I thought you'd quit gambling.
I haven't quit anything. I do it all. What's your problem now?
No, sir.
Hey, before you get into it, why aren't you using me?
What, sir?
You gotta use me more. November sweeps are coming up. Get me on some of the ABC shows. I own the network, for crying out loud.
Well, sir, what did you have in mind? You are only 18 inches tall.
Hey, with the short jokes. So what? I'm 18 inches tall. I am ratings gold. People love Mickey Mouse.
Sir, what did you have in mind?
How about you put me on private practice? Maybe write me a little affair scene with Addison Montgomery. Let her examine me on that table of hers.
Sir, she's an OBGYN.
So I could have an OB-GYN.
I think she's more of a...
Whatever. How about Grey's Anatomy or Dirty Sexy Money? Hey, put me on Women's Murder Club and give me a scene with Angie Harmon.
Yeah, sir, I don't believe a mouse would probably work in a crime procedural there.
Hey, this is television. It all works.
Yeah, I don't know, sir.
How about Dancing with the Stars? I am perfect for this.
Sir,
perfect.
You may be too small to do any of the dancing steps.
I'm a hell of a dancer. I could have an affair with that Maxim Czechoslovakia.
Sir, Maxim's a man.
Oh, well, who's the hot one? The Cheryl Burke or Juliana Hough?
Oh, yeah, Cheryl Burke.
Oh, my God, that Juliana Hough. I like to get my big white hands all over that.
Sir, aren't you a married man?
Minnie doesn't do anything anymore. She used to say no to nothing. Now she says no to everything.
Sir, shouldn't you maybe go to therapy or something?
Hey, why don't you put me on Men in Trees? Is Anne Hayes AC or DC this month?
Well, I believe she's dating her co-star, James Tupper.
So she's AC.
I don't know what that means, but yes.
AC-DC!
Sir, I actually have an idea.
Wait a minute. Stop the presses. Oh, my God, has an idea! And what is it?
How about Ugly Betty?
Why would you put me on that show? There's nobody hot on that show. It's called Ugly Betty!
Well, sir, Rebecca Romaine is in the show. She's beautiful.
Plays a man!
Yeah, she plays a man, but she is a woman.
But she plays a man! What would that do for my reputation?
Sir, wouldn't you just be acting?
Did you bet the Jets this week?
No, sir, I don't.
Oh, my God!
I don't gamble, sir.
What the hell happened?
Sir, I don't think you should either. You've had a problem in the past.
Hang on a second. Did I ask you what I thought you thought?
Well, no, sir.
No, I didn't, did I?
I thought since we were friends, we could...
We're not friends.
We're not?
No, we're not. You're my puppet. Hey, does your butt hurt from having my big white hand up you running you all day?
No, sir, I'm the president and CEO of the company.
You're not then. I pull all the strings. I'm Geppetto. You're Pinocchio.
Well, sir, this is a great conversation.
So what show am I going on in November? Pick one and get back to me.
Yeah, I'll just work things out with the programming department.
Yeah,
hopefully.
work that out and get me on. I'm partial to Dancing with the Stars.
Right. You want
I'd be a hell of a dancer.
Right. Yeah.
Work my tango magic all up and down that Juliana Hough.
Yeah. Goodbye, sir.
Me.
133, 2702 at 560 WQAM. Okay, I got part of your poll printed out here. I have a real difficult time printing some stuff out. I don't know what that is. Why do I do that?
You have a problem with polls?
Selection and
You have a problem with polls? Is that what you're saying?
I have a problem printing some crap out.
Oh, okay.
Like emails, for example. I don't know what it is. What it is. I don't want to go through the whole thing. I'll get it done. Thanks, Brandon. Consumer advocate and 2004 independent presidential candidate Ralph Nader sued the Democratic Party yesterday. Why doesn't he go away already, for Christ's sakes? Contending officials conspired to keep him from taking votes away from nominee John Kerry. I mean, talk about sour grapes that mean nothing. I mean, the fixed election is over with, and what difference does it make? Nader's lawsuit filed in D.C. Superior Court also named as co-defendants Kerry's campaign, the Service Employees International Union, and several so-called 527 organizations such as America Coming Together, which were created to promote voter turnout on behalf of the Democratic ticket. The lawsuit also alleges that the Democratic National Committee conspired to force Nader off the ballot in several states. The Democratic Party is going after anyone who presents a credible challenge to their monopoly over their perceived voters, Nader said in a statement. This lawsuit was filed to help advance a free and open electoral process for all candidates and voters. Candidate rights and voter rights nourish each other for more voices, choices, and more open and competitive democracy. Bada-beep, bada-boop, bada-bop. Among other things, the lawsuit alleges that the DNC tried to bankrupt Nader's campaign by suing to keep him off the ballot in 18 states. It also suggests the DNC sent Kerry supporters to crash a Nader petition drive in Portland, Oregon in June 2004, preventing him from collecting enough signatures to get on the ballot. The lawsuit seeks compensatory damages, punitive damages, and injunctive relief to enjoy the defendants from ongoing and future violations of the law. I think that America ought to sue Ralph Nader for an ego trip that cost Gore the election in 2000, and he continues to do this over and over again at the expense of the Democratic candidate and taking close states and throw them over to the Nazis. In fact, I think that some of the blood of all these dead people from Iraq, including the nearly 4,000 American troops, I think some of that blood is on Nader's hands, if you ask me. Let's sue his ass, okay? In the 2004 election, Nader received 463,000 plus votes, or 0.38% of the total votes cast. About 1/3% of the votes cast. Yeah, America just loves Ralph Nader. Not. Don't you get the message? We don't like you anymore, Ralph. Go away. Cox Ahoy's, get lost. Right?
At this point, yeah.
Enough already. So you ate bacon cheeseburgers in a
just cheeseburgers. Home. Just cheeseburger, no bacon.
Oh, well, that bacon would have put you over the edge. They probably would have burned you with the steak. Or maybe just cooked up a nice steak.
Doubt it. Chicken and rice. That was the only meal they ever had.
That's it? Chicken and rice? Not so nice. When you're Jewish, man, you don't want any more chicken because that's all they feed you. From the time you're an infant, oh, my God. No more chicken, please. Enough already with the chicken. 1177. You know what that reminds me of, 1177?
WABC! It's wheeling from New York to everywhere around.
He's still alive, by the way, Chubby Checker. We keep checking that, waiting for him to croak. He's fat. Every time I say, oh, and guess who else died? I have it way down in my list because nobody ever heard of him. Usually I do the obits at the start, like Robert Goulet died, and I put that on right at the beginning. Where the hell did I do with that? Oh, here it is. Friedman Paul Earnhardt, also known as Chef Tell, dies at 63.
I've heard the name. I don't.
Yeah, I've heard of Chef Tell. I don't know who the hell it was. It was one of those life-changing events that showed a person's life in an unexpected direction. This one on a rainy night in Germany's Black Forest in 1972. A prize-winning chef named Friedman Paul Earnhardt pulled his sports car over to aid a woman with a flat tire. She turned out to be Janet Louise Nicoletti, former Miss Philadelphia. On vacation, Earnhardt was smitten. 3 months later, he came to Philadelphia, married Nicoletti, and took a job as chef at the Marriott on City Avenue. In a very short time, Chef Tell was born. He was big and fat, and now he's dead. I just mentioned that to you guys, The legendary chef became a star of local and national TV, opened restaurants in the area, and authored cookbooks. He wowed audiences with his outsized personality as well as his knowledge of food and how to make it. He died of a heart attack Friday in his home in Upper Black Eddy, Bucks County. He was only 63, but he was fat. Up until his era, Chef stayed in the kitchen, said former Inquirer food editor Elaine Tate. Chef Tell wasn't about to stay in any kitchen. He was out there with his big smile and his Teutonic-tinged accent that some found almost unintelligible. He was born in Stuttgart and dropped out of school at 14 to learn cooking under a strict European apprenticeship program. He got his nickname Tell after playing William Tell in school production. In no time, he was winning gold medals for his cooking, earned a master's degree in cooking from the University of Heidelberg in 1970. He was named West Germany's Chef of the Year before he met Nicoletti. She was the second of his 3 wives, by the way. As the chef at the Marriott, he made his first TV appearance on the locally produced Dialing for Dollars. After that, he appeared on KYW's evening magazine, Lifestyles of the Rich and Flaming, specials for the QVC network in Westchester, and the PBS program In the Kitchen with Chef Tell. Survived by his wife of 25 years, Bunny, a son, Torsten Earnhardt, a daughter-in-law, Angelica, and a grandson, Max, who lives in Trimony. Chef Tell is dead. He was only 63. He was big and fat. Like they said in Fatso, man, the good people are the fat people and the fat people are the dead people. Now look at this. Mom charged in toddler heat death. Now who put this comment on here? Was that Zach?
No. That was our faxer.
Oh, the faxer says, fry this bitch in chicken wing oil. Well, we'll get to that in just a second. Then we'll fry her ass. And I got a great, but it's much too long, story by Ray McGovern, who's one of my very favorites. 27 years he was a CIA analyst. He's great, Ray McGovern, but this no kin to George McGovern, and the story is too long to read, or at least today. Attacking Iran for Israel, question mark? Ray McGovern.
Oi!
11:78 on the poll. We need 22 votes in 21 minutes, and we want you to keep your nose to the grindstone because we don't want to fall short and then blame me. Well, you didn't push the poll anymore. We thought you had your 1,200, for Christ's sakes. Don't keep saying for Christ's sakes, they say. Some of the blame was going to get these POs.
Sports Radio 560 QAM.
The sports leader.
I thought Christianity was fairy tale.
Absolutely.
This religion thing was not for me.
Oi!
They held a big convention. Let me in for free. I had no idea what I was about to see. They were speaking in tongues that made me a believer. It was kind of fun to stick it out of my mouth. Speak in tongues. They got me believing my tongue is weaving from side to side. The Lord will now embrace me. I clap my tongue to the beat.
You fairy.
Now, whatever I do, He'll forgive me. Cause now I speak in tongues. That makes me a believer. And I'm having fun playing around with my mouth. Now I speak in tongues.
14.4, 258 on the Richter scale, and I blood sugar in my last check today. It's not good. It's 100 points high, but it's better than yesterday. Yesterday was like 200 points high. How did I finish the show yesterday? You guys should have called somebody.
911?
Well, I don't know.
811?
911, eh? 1190 on the poll. We need 10 more votes to get to 1,200. I told you guys we do 1,200.
Yep.
But now I think Eric has his foot on the brake. Every day between like 1:35 and 1:45, he slams his foot on the brake, and all of a sudden there's nothing more coming through there. See, 1190. We got 14 minutes for 10 votes. Well, we should do it. And
he likes to mess with you.
What is it?
He likes to mess with you.
Yeah. Well, so does everybody else. Too bad. Like Clarence in there. Did you go in there and kick him in the nuts yet, Zach?
No, that's 205. I'll do that.
Good. 201. A mother who left her 17-month-old son in the car for at least 7 hours while she worked at a West Phoenix Hooters was charged with negligent homicide in the child's death. Fry this bitch in the chicken wing oil, it says here on the thing somebody wrote. Ashley Duchesne, 22, was booked after investigators learned she had said she wanted her freedom more than her son.
Nice.
We're not saying this was a deliberate act yesterday, but that does give insight to her mindset that caring for her child was not her top priority, Phoenix Police Sergeant Joel Tranter told KTAR. Tranter said the family members told detectives that Duchesne made statements that she didn't want to care for the child and wanted her freedom. So rather than put it up for adoption or something like that, or stick it in the microwave, she left it in the car for 7 hours to fry. 17-month-old baby.
She'd rather work at Hooters.
It's also my understanding that other family members perhaps had taken the child away from her for brief periods of time. Tranter said they had concerns that she was a crazy bitch. Police said Duchesne had planned to drop off her son Ryan at a daycare before heading to work at the Hooters near 29th Ave and Bell Road. Instead, officials said she went straight to work with the toddler still in the vehicle. Tranter said when she was driving to work, she made a brief statement that she actually looked in the rearview mirror, saw a young child seated behind her in the child's seat. Exactly what happened after that, we're not sure. She saw a young child, like a stranger, you're a stranger. Duchesne arrived at work at 10 a.m. When her shift ended around 5, she discovered Ryan inside the vehicle, unresponsive. Authorities pronounced the child not just unresponsive, but more like dead. D-E-A-D, dead. The high temperature in Phoenix Tuesday was 89. Readings inside the vehicle upwards of 210 degrees, 110. Police said the windows of Duchesne's silver Honda Civic were tinted, making it difficult for anybody to tell a child was inside. She's probably feeling an overwhelming sense of guilt, said Michelle Fritz, a crisis counselor with the Phoenix Fire Department. Right. She's probably nervous about what her parents are going to think, about what the public's going to think, Fritz said. Michael Fagan was at the scene and said he was shocked. There's no way you can leave a baby inside a car all day working, just forget your baby like that, he said. Amy Robin was in a crowd who gathered outside the restaurant. She said the mother should face charges. We're parents ourselves. We never once left our baby in the car, Robin said. I think that's cruel. I mean, even the microwave would have been a lot quicker, you know? If you don't want to do something decent like put it up for adoption or leave it on a street corner somewhere.
She should fry in
Yeah, fry her
chicken
ass in
oil.
oil, baby. And olio oliva. Che pane, olio oliva. Eli Wallach, man, he's serving 10 to life. 12:01 on the pool. We did it, baby. Thanks again to Zach for a fabulous 2 days. Not that we're done yet, but we ought to be. Let's do some live spots.
All right.
Okay. It's just, you know, I don't want to keep dwelling on that because probably the management is... I don't really care what the management thinks. Management thinking in this place is an oxymoron anyway. They don't think. Gee, how come we only got like 2 shares in there or what? Because, you know, you make it unlistenable. If you had the greatest product in the world, if they had the greatest stake in the history of the human race, these people would put a big dollop of dog dew right in the middle of it and then put it on the plate. How come you're not eating our steak? It's the best in the universe. It's USDA, a prime, schmeckel, whatever. Oh, it's got a big daub of dog crap in the middle. Oh, yeah, but gee, it's the best. Best by test. They're just stupid, you know. That's all there is to it. They're stupid. They're inept. They're kind of like George says. George has got it down to a science, baby. Dumber than a box of rocks. If they like it, it sucks. It's going to fail. Who are the they? Jolly Joe and Clarence. And, of course, Joyce. Well, forget about her. She don't like anything. Can't blame her for anything that goes on because she's against all of it. If it's on our air, she doesn't want it. 12:05. In fact, I think back to the days when, a couple of years ago, when we were renegotiating everybody, the new contracts, maybe 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. The Humper and me and Mad Dog. And Joyce came up with this crap. Everybody's going to sign this document about, and nobody signed it because it was the most, if you could have read it, I wish I had a copy of it to read on the air. Maybe Norma still
Well, I
got
remember Mad Dog talking about it where, like, if they just decided that they didn't like what you said, you could be fired.
Right, that's right. You could be fired for any number of reasons. If you were breathing too hard, if you said anything bad about any of the teams or the coaches or the owner or the management or anybody else on the station or anything they didn't like, you're fired.
And it was very vague, right? It wasn't any like specifics. It was
of
like,
course
you know,
not. It was just
if
an open book for them. And if you criticize the Beasleys or any of their stations or whoever took a dump in their tea room or anything like that, you're fired. Now, nobody's going to sign a deal like that. I mean, that's only a part of it. There were all these other ridiculous provisions in there, and nobody wound up signing it. And, of course, Joyce was trying so desperately to impress Carolyn and the rest of the Beasleys. Oh, you'll see. I'll whip all these bastards in shape, these overpaid sports nerd, everybody in shape. Did it work?
No.
Did anybody sign it? No. She's evil, man. But you know something? She's in a different category from Jolly Joe and Josh. Darrow. Because they actually have hands-on. They're the ones who actually have their hands on the steering wheel and continue trying to drive us off the edge of the cliff, as opposed to somebody who just wills it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like the difference between somebody who's got a voodoo doll and keeps sticking pins in it all day and somebody who comes in and actually like sticks a knife in your midsection. There's a difference. The first person is trying to do harm, but probably isn't going to really do all that much. And the second person is like killing you over here. You know.
I'm dying over here.
Exactly. Okay, one last look at that pool. Tomorrow we got the Neil's Deal thing coming up, and we also have a lot of free food coming in, Chris.
Correct.
Josh will be by. Zach. Josh will be by, but Zach too. You'll come by for that Death by Chocolate thing, won't you?
Are you kidding me? There better be one for me.
12:07 on the pool. How much of the Neil Rogers Show do you listen to? All of it. I'm an addict. I can't quit. 3:49. How long is this last break? 4 minutes. Well, once in a while there's like a 15 in there. We're 15 seconds short, and you should have been on the day we had the 5-second spots running. I want to see the day. I'm not going to read the poll. I don't have time. I want to see the day when this sales department comes up with 1-second spots. We've had 15s and 10s and 5s, which nobody in the world ever heard of a 5-second spot before on radio. TV, yes. Radio, no. But wait until we come up with 1s. Joe Shoeshine.
Hi, I'm Joe Rose. Buy this.
Yeah.
That was too long.
Yeah. Work on it a little bit. Cut it. Chop it down.
Hi, I'm Joe.
Biggest names.
The best talent.
This is Neil Rogers.
Big dog.
Sports Radio 560 QAM.
The sports leader.
It's Steve. Oh, in Miami town.
You fairly.
At 560 WQAM. Start
holding your nose. I'm in town today. I want to see the infidels. New York, New York. Oi! This Iranian dude wants to see hairspray and eat a sandwich made by Jews. New York, New Oi! I want to visit the satanic commercialization of Times Square and see that cowboy who sings in his underwear. My boring gray suit I will trade away for one of those t-shirts that say, I heart New York. I'll spend time with Arabs each time I take a cab. Mahmoud loves you, New York, New York, New York.
Bye, bye, bye.
This is better than sex.
The best talent. And your home for Miami Dolphins football. Sports Radio 560 WQAM. Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
This is better than sex.